All right, very good. Let's start. We have a quorum. And welcome everyone to Wareham Zoning Board of Appeal for tonight, January 13, 2021. And we are online on Zoom meeting. And I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We start, everybody state their name, please, the members and associates.
Well, I'll start. Jim Ekabachi.
Richard Semple.
Jacob Morrison.
Christopher Conti.
And myself, the chair, Nazi Erkolasi. Thank you. We have no preliminary business. We're gonna start with the public hearing 31. Just before we start, we have a very, very long hearing, a lot of hearings tonight, 9 of them. And a couple of them are very long, so we're gonna make it as efficient, as quick as possible for the applicant and the members. So we're gonna start with public hearing 31-20, James and Cheryl Enos for 41 Riverside.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. to consider petition number 3120 for a special permit and or variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 628 and Article 13, Section 1355 under the Wareham zoning bylaws for James and Cheryl Enos of 41 Riverside Drive, Wareham, Mass., proposing demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling at 41 Riverside Drive, Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 11, lot 265 in the R30 zoning district.
All right, who we have one from Riverside?
My name is Dan Brasi. I'm 43 Riverside Drive. I'm Jim Enos. I'm Jim Enos's neighbor, Jim and Cheryl's neighbor.
Attorney
Okay.
John McCluskey representing Jim and Cheryl Enos.
Okay, you wanna, John, you wanna start? Who's representing the case? Start?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. I thank you for having us, and I'll be quick because I know you have a busy agenda. This is a situation where the Enos have owned the property at 41 Riverside Drive in Wareham for many, many years. It's a small single-family home, 1 story, and they'd like to turn this into their retirement home by raising the home and building a new single-family structure. They came to me initially, we put together some plans and an application to the board for a special permit under section 1355, seeking consideration under the 4 criteria that required to be met under that section for a special permit. Initially, I submitted to you plans showing a 2-family, a 2-story multi-bedroom home. And Mr. and Mrs. Enos have been watching the board and covering your decisions over time. And they came back to me and said that we would really, since we really want to live here, we really want to make this our home, we're willing to make some concessions. The initial application to you sought floor area ratio of over 40%. And as you know, the 25% is the criteria. The existing home floor area ratio is a little over 30%, 30.60, I believe it is. And so they're reducing the footprint of this home. There's several things that are making improvements on. First of all, they've gone to the Conservation Commission and have obtained an order of conditions raising the height of the property or the foundation of the property above the floodplain zone by 2.5 to 3 feet. The existing home is well below that and couldn't be built today in that flood zone. So they've made an improvement there. They've also shown to the Conservation Commission and show on the plans, all of the drainage off the roof will be kept on the property in cisterns, underground cisterns. So there'll be drainage into the ground. There'll be very little runoff from the property. They've reduced the size of the home from a footprint of 1610 square feet to 1360. So that's a reduction of about 250 square feet. And their floor area ratio is now 25.85, which I would say really, as a matter of practicality, meets the floor area ratio of the town's bylaw. They've improved the green space. They're proposing now, as opposed to a 2-story single-family home, we're reducing it to a 1-story with 2 bedrooms, a master bedroom and a very modest guest room. The home fits basically on the old foundation, but is backed off by 250 square feet. One of the neighbors is here, and I believe the way this is now proposed to be landscape will join into that property adjacent to them in a very nice manner. And I think the neighbor's in favor of it and is prepared to speak this evening. I believe we meet the full 4 criteria. The first one, replacement structure will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. Keep in mind, this is a prior non-conforming lot, and it's a very unusual shape, size, and topography. And it's hard to put a house on this, so they're basically coming into the same footprint, but a little smaller by 250 square feet. The height will be slightly higher because of the conservation, the order of conditions, by raising it 2.5 to 3 feet, but it still will comply with the Wareham bylaw. The replacement of the structure will not cause or contribute any undue nuisance, hazard, or congestion in the neighborhood or the zoning district or town. So we still have a single family residence. We're removing a driveway. The roof drainage will all be retained on site. We're obviously going to meet all of the building code regulations, which of course the old house wouldn't meet. And we're going to be above the flood zone. Number 3, replacement structure will not intensify any of the following existing conformities. Building coverage, so we're going from 30% down to 25%. Impervious coverage, we're increasing the green space and we're increasing the pervious coverage. And the setbacks are slightly improved, although again, because of the nature of the shape and size of the lot, very tough to meet that. But we're reducing it or maintaining it. The number 4, the replacement structure will not create any new nonconformities. There are no new nonconformities. We're reducing the nonconformities almost to right down to the 25% flat. We're less than 1% over that. We've reduced that tremendously. So I think we meet that as a matter of practice. And in general, although this is not a variance case, if it were, we certainly have an unusual shape, size, soil conditions, and topography that would meet the hardship of Chapter 40A. But this is a special permit case, I believe. Section 9 allows the board to fine for special permit when the desired use is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw and subject to general and specific provisions therein. And I think we've imposed, self-imposed the limitations on this, especially by the fact that they've really gone to their utmost to try to meet what the board is always looking for, and that's that 25%. And it's certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. I think it's a considerable improvement. So for those reasons, members of the board, we would respectfully request that you grant the special permit, and the Enoses are here to make a statement. Certainly the gentleman neighbors here, if you had any questions, we're ready to answer them.
All right, very good. So your site plan are small. Is Veronica in? Veronica,
Veronica's in.
can you hear us, Veronica?
Yeah, I
Need to-
can hear you.
Okay. So Veronica Devaney is a board member, joined in at 6:35 p.m. And for this matter, board member Walter Cruz is out, so Mr. Conti will be voting on his chair. So like he'll be taking his vote. So on your site plan, just quick, what was the footprint? How many square feet, John?
The existing footprint is 1610 square feet, 1,610. The new footprint is 1,360, which is a reduction of 250 square feet.
Okay, and you guys reduced that?
We've reduced that from 30, the floor area ratio, the FAR from 30, 30, where did it go here?
What was your before? What was the FAR? I can't see on the plans, too small.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
What was the FAR before? Over 25%?
The floor, what they're ending up with is 25%, 25.85%. So really, they're there at 25%.
What was it before, prior to that?
I'm looking for the exact number. I believe it was 30.6%.
Yeah, it was 30.
The existing is 30.60%. So we're reducing the floor area ratio.
And why did you reduce it? Why did you want to reduce it?
John, can I speak?
1
This
second.
is Jim Enos, sure.
Yeah, I'm Jimmy, the owner.
Enos, Mr. Enos, you have to ask me to speak, not your.
Okay, can I
That's
speak?
how the rules are, not that I wanna.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, we reduced the footprint to take all the little jogs off. I don't know if you have the plot plan, if you can see it.
Right.
There was a lot of jogs. We wanted just to make it simple, the foundation 24 by 40, and then we put the kitchen off to the side, which the foundation existing. So that's why we reduced the footprint.
Just curious, that's fine. If that makes you
Yeah.
happy, I'm okay with it. All right, I wanna, so everybody, as everybody understands, it's an existing non-conforming. If the board feels detrimental to the neighborhood, we'll treat it as a variance. If the board don't feel it's not substantially detrimental, it'll be a special permit. So we're gonna make it a quick, start by Jim.
Could I make a quick statement, neighbor?
I'll
name is-
call you in a few minutes, sir.
Sure, okay.
I'll be calling people as much as I can, but because we're in Zoom, we just gotta give chances to go quick. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I don't find it detrimental to the neighborhood. And I will tell you that I had the opportunity today. I spent 4 hours reviewing everything that's in front of us today. I'm all set on this one. I have no questions.
Okay, very good. Chris, Mr. Conte.
I don't find it detrimental to the neighborhood. From the pictures though, there's 2 stone walls. It looks like on each side of the property that's going to be all filled in. Is that what I understand?
Mr. John.
I think Jim Enos can answer that better than I on the stone
Mr.
wall.
Enos.
Okay, yes, on the left side of the property, there's a wall. That's gonna be that's gonna come up. My grade is gonna come up to meet Mr. Brossi that's on here. Even his grade will be the same as mine per conservation that they requested that. And the other stone walls, we're gonna add, they're there, but we gotta raise them up a little bit because we're raising the foundation 2.5 feet to come out of the flood zone.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Veronica. Let me finish with
Could we,
Chris. Chris,
could we
are
get
you-
some sharing of the maps? Could those be put on screen so that we
Just
can
keep
all see
talking,
what's
I can hear
being
you.
discussed?
My pen, audible. Stop. I'm sorry, my pen died. All right, yeah, Veronica, did you look at the plans? I'm sorry.
No, I'm wondering if they can be shared on screen. I don't have the plans.
Can you share them? There is,
It's
there's a
certainly hold
site,
up.
Veronica, there's a,
Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Chris. I have one
Yeah.
more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, on the I was looking at the the first floor plan, and it looks like there's a deck on the back there. And it looks like on the deck, it has, 2 staircases, one on each side. Is that 2 staircases, one on each side? Because on the side elevations, I only see the one.
On the site, well, are you looking at the regular, from the ASAP floor plan?
Yes, I was
Site-
looking, yes, at the first floor plan. It looks like it shows stairs going onto the deck on both sides, but the elevations that I see only show
Oh,
the
I
one
see,
set
yeah,
of
he did.
stairs.
He didn't draw it in on on one of them he did. But yes, there's one staircase coming down to the right, if you're looking at the floor. And then I do think we were just thinking about putting another staircase to the left. It would only be 2 steps, just for
Right.
easy access to get to the backyard.
Okay, so the steps are there. I was just curious because
Yeah.
I didn't see it on
Yeah,
the
they-
side. I was wondering which way
I
it went.
thought they drew them in, I'm sorry, I thought he drew them in on one of the plans, and then I think on one picture he did, but
That's fine. I'm all set, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Jim, can you close those plans? I mean, Ken? All right, Richard, do you have a comment?
Oh, I think they've done their homework, they've covered their bases, and I don't think it's detrimental to the neighborhood.
Okay, very good. And Jake?
No comments. It looks great.
Okay, anyone on the neighbor against this project? I hear none. Anyone in favor? Whoever is in favor, just state their name for the record and address and just say in favor. We don't have time for,
Dan Barossi, 43 Riverside Drive, in favor.
thank you very much. Anyone else? I hear none. There's a letter on record from also, oh, Catherine Brossi and Daniel Brossi for in favor. And also we have also okay, so we have that letter on record. Thank you. Anyone else? Any more discussion? John, you want to close with something before we close?
No, I think we've said it all. I appreciate your time.
Okay, very good. That being said, can we get a motion to close?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second. Richard Semple.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Chris Conti.
Hey, Richard Semple.
Hi, Jacob Morrison.
Aye, Nazi El Khalasi. We need Baraka and Jim.
Aye, Veronica Debonese.
Aye, Jim Akabachi.
Okay, what's, okay, wishes from the board?
I move that it's not detrimental to the neighborhood, should be treated as a special permit.
Okay, very good. Do I have a second on that to treat it as a special?
Semple. I second.
Okay, Richard, you can do this. You're not on vote, so Conti gonna do this or other board. You're not on that. So can I have a second from board members?
I second Chris Conti.
Second by Chris. All in favor to treat it as a special permit, say aye.
Aye, Jim Akabachi.
Jacob Morrison. Aye.
Veronica Debonese, aye.
Chris Conti, aye.
And myself, Nazir Al Khalasi, aye. Now,
I make a motion that we grant as presented with standard conditions. Jim Akabachi.
thank you. And the findings are, it's not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. Do I have a second on Jim's motion?
Aye, Chris Conti, second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Jacob
Jim.
Morrison. Aye.
Chris
Veronica
Conti,
Debonese.
go ahead, Veronica.
Veronica Debonese, aye.
Chris Conti, aye.
And Nazir Al Khalasi, aye. Just, John, make sure you gotta use the same plans reference, on the, that you submit for that project. Okay, good. We'll move to the second one, which.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank
Good
you.
evening.
Thank you, good evening. 32-20, Michael Trojano, variance on 15 Graston Way.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 PM to consider petition number 3220 for a variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 625 and Article 13, Section 1361 under the Wareham zoning bylaws for Michael F. Giuliano of care of Lockwood Architects of P.O. Box 95, Wareham, Mass, proposing to enlarge the pre-existing non-conforming accessory structure in the rear yard at 15 Granston Way, Wareham, Mass. Assessors Lot Map 5, Lot 1003C in the R43 zoning district.
Okay, who's presenting the case, name and address?
Bill Lockwood of Lockwood Architects, 219 Onset Avenue.
Okay, and you have the applicant with you? Well,
I don't know if they're on the hearing or not.
okay, go ahead, stop, you can stop.
The application is for the expansion of what we're calling a barn. It's currently a single, two-story, story and a half structure used for storage and warehouse and workshop. And we're creating a third bay to it to be able to store some lawn tractor, things like that, and some more storage. There are no other accessory structures on the property. And I guess Ken has put up the drawing there. As you can see, the hatched in blue area is the proposed addition, which constitutes about 320 square feet. The existing structure is about 560 square feet. In the R43 district where this is, there is no particular requirement for building coverage or floor area ratio or lot coverage. It flood zone touches the property, but not where the barn is located. We have been to the conservation. We have received a notice of an order of conditions rather. And we feel like this project can be done without any substantial impacts to the neighborhood or without defeating zoning in any sufficient fashion. Look forward to answering any questions any of the board might have.
Okay, quick question, why you asking, it's a special permit or a variance? Okay,
Because we are within the setback, the building is within the setback area.
Okay.
And we are actually getting a little bit closer to the property line than it currently is.
all right, pretty much the same thing as an existing non-conforming. They're extending the non-conformity in the barn. And again, if the board feels it's less detrimental to the neighborhood, we treat it as a special permit and we go from there. And let's start with Jim, please.
Mr. Chairman, can I just jump in here? Dave Requena, Building Commissioner.
Yes, sir. How are you?
This is not a single or two-family residential structure, so it does not qualify for the benefit of a special permit. This has to be a variance.
Oh, so because the application says special permit or a variance, but you know what, Mr. Commissioner, I didn't get to your letter yet, to be honest with you. So I'm sorry, thanks for jumping in.
Sure.
We're gonna start then, but if everybody understands, so it is a variance regardless. So Mr. Lockwood, I need to push that. I'm just reading this quick. You have to kind of state the statute for us, a statutory requirement for a variance. Why should we give you this?
Well, the most difficult, there are the four pieces there, but the most difficult one is typically the hardship.
Right.
If we were, well, to get out of the setback and would mean to move it, and that would create a substantial hardship. To straighten it out so that we're not increasing or decreasing the setback would be architecturally difficult, possible, but not providing any benefit to anybody and creating further hardship to the owner in order to accomplish it. We are We're pretty close to meeting a lot of the de minimis criteria under section 1391, where relief is limited to the non-conforming setback, and the resulting changes are not closer to 5 feet to the property line, and the nearest residence is further away from the setbacks, and we're meeting the construction codes. The property's fairly unique in that it has very little frontage. It's at the end of a long driveway, so it doesn't behave like a lot of other lots from shape. And I think that those are the important points.
All right, let me ask Mr. Requena again. Can you say why it's not existing non-conforming?
Under Mass General Law, so to answer your question, it is a lawfully pre-existing non-conforming structure, but only single or two-family residential structures are entitled to the benefit of a special permit.
And what's in there?
That's an accessory structure. If it was
I understand.
When it was attached to the building, it would be entitled to the special permit protection.
Okay, well, learn something every day. Thanks.
Yeah.
You're the encyclopedia of the zoning as always. So thank you, David.
Just for the record, the building
All
department.
right. So as everybody understands, so it requires a variance. Thank you, David. We're gonna start by Veronica. What's your thought now? You're mute. Push your mute, Veronica. Your mute button. Get rid of it. Go ahead.
I don't see any problem with it. I think, however, the statute is what it is, and I don't see any hardship with the land that would give us really allow us to grant a variance on it. I'm just wondering if it's possible to maybe put this, the addition more toward the inner part of the property, so it'd be away from the property line. Would that, I guess this question is for Mr. Requena, would that make it?
Conforming.
Yeah, if he does the setback properly, of course it's conforming.
So I guess that would be an option on this. I just don't see how we can grant a variance.
Yeah, okay, very good. Let me ask you a quick, Bill, not that I want to take a lot of time. Who's map 5, lot 1000B, 1002B? How far a neighbor from behind you there, where the barn is? Or the garage or whatever?
They're substantially away. I don't know the exact figure.
Okay, I'm looking at the plan. Okay, I see the house with the pool. I'm trying to Google it. I don't see the existing garage where it is, but okay. All right, we'll continue. Jimmy.
My feeling is simply that if map 5 lot 1002B is present or online or objects, then I would ask the applicant to jog his addition forward 3 feet. Other than that, I'm ready to grant.
Okay, and this one, Mr. Sample will be sitting on the chair of Walter. So, Richard?
Fine with it. Like he said, if there's nobody that opposes it, then I'm good with it.
Okay, very good. And I have no comment myself. Okay, anyone in the neighbors want to speak against this project? I hear none. Anyone in favor? I hear none. Okay. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
I'm looking at trying to make sense of the flood zone that's there. I just see a lot of writing referencing the flood zone area removed from special flood hazard area. Is that flood zone X or is it not flood zone X?
It's an X, yeah. the VE all the way down to the right, if you look to the south side.
Right. Okay,
But then again, it's zoning, has nothing to do with flood. That would be conservation. But he's an X, he's not on flood zone.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that being said, you wanna, somebody move to close?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to close by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second that, Jacob Morrison.
Okay, all in favor to close, say aye.
Aye, Jim E.
Hi, Richard Semple.
Hi, Veronica Debonese.
I, Jacob Morrison.
And I, Nazir Akalasi. Now, what's the wishes on the variance?
Make a motion to grant the variance as requested with standard conditions.
I'll second that, Jacob Morrison.
Second by Jake. All in favor, say aye.
Aye, Jim.
Richard Semple.
Hi, Veronica Debonese.
And I, Nazir Akalasi. It carries. Thank you. Thanks, guys. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next one. 11 Woodbury Street, 33-20, Raymond and Lisa Nelson.
Yeah.
Zoning Board of Appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 PM to consider petition number 33 for a variance from the requirements of section 621 and section 628 under the Wareham zoning bylaws for Raymond and Elisa Nelson of 11 Woodbury Street, Wareham, Mass, requesting relief for floor area ratio and building coverage at 11 Woodbury Street, Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 3, lots 37 and 38, in the MR3 zoning district.
No.
All right, who's presenting the case?
Raymond Lisa Nelson,
Okay, wanna start, sir? And your address, sir? Ma'am?
11 Woodbury Street.
Okay, you wanna tell us what you're doing and start?
So we were issued a permit. And when we got to the frame inspection, I had an inspection by George Stewart, and he had told me that I was in violation of variance codes and that I had to go to the zoning board, which I had no idea until then. I mean, I got issued the permit, I put the plans in and everything I needed, and now here we are. So the house is complete. We're supposed to get a final inspection tomorrow. George is coming out. And that's it.
Could I step in, Naz?
Sure.
I just want to, again, like I said, I spent some time reviewing everything tonight before and to try to save some time. It appears to me that this applicant was granted a building permit and proceeded in good faith, and he was operating in good faith under an issued permit. It appears to me that the error was on the town or the issuing department or the board or the inspectional department or somebody, but the guy was given a permit. He did what he was permitted to do. When he got it all built, he said, okay, come make sure I did it right. And they said, nope, it's wrong. We shouldn't have given you the permit. He didn't cause the problem. So with all that said, I wanted to say that quick before everybody got going and asking questions. I think we should grant this gentleman relief. I don't think he should be punished because there was an error made and he didn't make the error with malice. That's
Okay, very good. Let me ask you something. When George came for a frame inspection and you're saying the house is done, he signed the frame inspection?
Yes. Well, he signed the rough frame inspection.
And he signed, did he sign insulation as well?
He came back and inspected the insulation afterwards and signed that off also.
Everything is approved.
And-
Everything's been signed from frame, rough.
When did you learn it needed the variance? When he came for the frame or final?
occupancy.
November 5th. We got a letter November 5th.
So, the house was like you had already, let me see, he had already came for rough and everything else? What I'm trying to say, when at the time he told you, why didn't you go apply for variance before you?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Nazi, the house was built. The house was built don't forget, we've gone through some changes in the building department, and so somehow in error, this permit,
Okay,
FAR got messed up or something like that. And now the house is built, he goes for his final, and they say, hey, wait a minute, this shouldn't have been done.
yeah, no, because I heard from Mr. Nelson during the frame, George told him need a variance. I probably misunderstood. Okay, no problem, we'll carry on. Veronica, what do you think?
I'm in agreement with Jim. I don't feel like the applicant did any wrongdoing and moved forward with the building in good faith. So I'm willing to grant based on that.
All right, this one will be Chris Conti. Conti, what do you think?
I agree with both Jim and Veronica.
Okay, and we have Jake. Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree as well.
Okay, anyone, any addition want to speak against this project? Anyone in favor? I guess somebody wants to speak on.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Cardoso, and I just want to voice a concern. I mean, the house is beautiful. It's built. They're living there. My only concern is the house is very large for the property. I just want to make sure there's not a precedent set with other homes in the neighborhood that the variances won't follow the proper procedures.
It won't, and that's an exception. I mean, each land has its merit, but this.
I mean, he worked in good faith. I understand what happened because of the COVID and the different the changes that happened in the building department. I just want to make sure that, say, the house next door, if they sold it, that the variances will, again, they have to apply for the variances in an appropriate manner, and then that the house won't be oversized for the property.
Yeah, I think we're going the right direction with the building department.
All right. Now the house is beautiful, and I welcome my new neighbors.
Thank you. Just your address for the record, ma'am.
It's 8 Monroe Street.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, I hear none. Can we
Make a motion to close?
I have a motion to close by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second that, Jacob Morrison.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Chris Conti.
I, Jacob Morrison.
I, Veronica Debonese.
And I, Nazir Okulasi. Now, a motion, please, for somebody.
A move to relief as requested, well, we don't even need any standard conditions, just grant.
Good to grant. Okay, I have a motion to grant by Jim. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Veronica Debonese.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I, Jacob Morrison.
Hi, Chris Conti.
And I, Nazir Okulasi. Very good, it carries. Thank you, ma'am, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's move to 35-20, Alexa Haysham, special permit / variance on 38 Agawam Drive.
Do you want to do 34-20 first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed because I'm reading far from it. So it's we're gonna go 22 Weaver Street and 34-20 Zachary Letendre.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. to consider petition number 3420 for a variance from the requirements of Article 3, Section 330, Article 14, Section 1460, and Article 3, Section 340.4 under the Wareham zoning bylaws for Zachary Letendre of 22 Weaver Street, Wareham, Mass, requesting to legalize a non-conforming accessory apartment at 22 Weaver Street, Wareham, Mass, Assessors Map 100 Lot 1039B in the MR30 zoning district.
All right, who's presenting this case?
State your name, sir.
Yes, name and address for the record. You have a bad microphone, sir. Can you use something else?
I'm getting nothing.
It's bad.
Are you muted? Do you have your little on the bottom? Have you got your mute button on or off?
Zach Latender of 22 Weaver Street. Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Yes, thank you for thank you for calling me up. I have roughly a 5-minute presentation, if it's all right, to give to everybody.
Okay.
If there's no objections, I'll.
Try to cut it in half if you can. Go ahead. Go ahead, stop.
Yep.
Stephen.
He's got a PowerPoint, so he's not.
Yes,
gonna-
I have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to jump right in real quick. It's only this is going to take 5 minutes. So this is a variance request for an apartment at 22 Weaver Street. The scope of this project is to obtain a variance from the town of Wareham for an existing second floor garage apartment. The parcel here, this is 22 Weaver Street in West Wareham. As mentioned, it's lot 100-1039/B. The zoning is MR30. And it sits on 0.83 acres. And there are 3 structures. There's the house, there's a shed, and the garage, which is a non-conforming property. You can see here, this is Weaver Street. The setback is 150 feet from the road.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I can only see slide 1. Are we on slide 3?
Exactly. Put 3, sir.
Can everybody else see this lot?
No, all we see is the very first one you put up. You're gonna have to close and every time you want to change the slide, you're gonna have to do it all over again from the green button on the bottom of your screen.
Oh, geez. Okay.
It doesn't follow along with, it doesn't follow a PowerPoint presentation. Or at least not in the format that you've presented it.
I'm sorry about that. I tried this earlier and it seemed to work. Okay, well.
Click on your, there you go, that's working. Now we're seeing it.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just do this. Is this all right?
No, we can see it now.
Okay, all right, sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, so this is 22 Weaver Street, like I mentioned, West Wareham, lot 100-1039/B. The zoning is MR30. It sits on 0.83 acres. And on this lot here, there's 3 structures, the house, there's a shed, and the garage. We're going to be talking about the garage today. This is the non-conforming structure. It sits back off the road off of Weaver Street by 150 feet and off the property line by 15 feet. Can you see the next slide?
Not until you click on it.
Okay.
It says garage.
Yes, okay. Okay, so this is the garage is the non-conforming structure. It's 2 stories. The dimensions are 28 by 32 feet. It's roughly 900 square feet. There is a 2-car garage on the ground level and an apartment on the 2nd level. According to Robert Dennis Jr., who's a structural engineer that I serviced, he says, in quote, "The garage as built is capable of supporting a 2nd floor living area." The layout of the structure, let me see if I can get this a little larger for you.
Exactly. I want to interrupt you.
Yes.
Your presentation, your most important part, you have to convince us and show us a hardship. Why should we give you an apartment there? I mean, those plans you did a good job. I went through them. You did very well. You have to give us statutory requirement of a variance. That's what you have to tell us.
So you're referring to, yes. So, okay. So if you can see this here, the 4 requirements of the Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 10, pertaining to the land structure and zoning of the district. There is no effect to the land. This garage has been existing on the property for many years. It's zoned as MR30, which is to promote residential development as moderate to high densities, and it's permitted to have single and 2-family dwellings, according to the bylaws, more than 5 with special permits. Now on Weaver Street alone, there's number 2, number 3, number 7A, number 40, which consists of 4 condos. They're already multifamily properties. Therefore, within this neighborhood, there will be no derogatory effects to the zoning district at all. Secondly, is that there will be no detriment to the public good. In fact, there will be more housing opportunities. It demonstrates continued growth within the community, and it will increase the town revenue, assuming that the assessed value increases and therefore the property taxes will increase. Thirdly, for the intents and purpose, there's no derogation to the Wareham zoning bylaws. This is used to harmonize the lot's intent and current use. The variance is acquired for this balance, and it will contribute, this process will contribute to the purpose of the Zoning Board of Appeals and the town bylaws. Therefore, there will be no derogation. Lastly is the uniqueness. The detached garage is not connected to the main house, therefore it cannot be considered an in-law apartment. Therefore, a variance request for an apartment in a mixed-use building or an accessory apartment is required. And this is unique to this property and only this property. So in summary, I'm requesting a variance to legalize the apartment in the garage. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
What would be your answer for hardship?
For hardship, so this property or this garage apartment is already existing. The structure is already existing. In reality, this is where I reside, and if this cannot be granted, to be perfectly honest, my hardship is in the residency.
Nazi, I have questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I'm trying to get to the root of this. The zoning, the only thing we're voting on here, if I understand this correctly, and I'm speaking to the applicant and the board at the same time, and I'm asking Ken to listen. It seems to me he's zoned multifamily. If the garage was attached to the house, he wouldn't even need a variance. If he's got the right fire code thickness of sheetrock up between the garage and the residence. My question to the applicant is, this entire apartment was built with permits, permits issued by the town of Wareham?
Jimmy, let me interrupt. He needs 45,000 square feet in the MR 30 and 200 feet of frontage. He needs a relief.
He needs more variances than just the mixed use.
The mixed use, that's allowed use. He can do, if he had 45,000 and 200, he wouldn't be here. He just go to the building department and get a permit. Attached, detached, it doesn't matter. Well, detached, he would need special permit from us. But so he needs a variance from the frontage. He needs, I don't think he has, how many square feet the lot? Zach?
The lot is 0.83 acres.
3 acres?
It's 0.83. It's just under an acre.
Okay, so he needs variance from the front setback. I mean, frontage. He needs a variance from square footage, and he needs a special permit to separate the dwelling. So the separating the dwelling, a special permit, no big deal, but he needs 2 variances from these
Frontage and land area.
Right, yes.
And so my question remains though, was this all done under permit?
Yes, so originally, this was done under the permit. It passed electrical, plumbing, and I believe it was rough, or up to the rough, which is when the permit stopped. And the rest, the final was not done under the permit.
Yeah, but you, on April 2020, you were issued a violation.
So yes, that's correct. So when I bought this property, I was 22 years old. This garage apartment on the second floor was a project that I originally undertook. It was already existing when I purchased the land, purchased the lot. I originally was trying to do everything by the book to get this, the space above the garage usable. It was just rough. I wanted a place, for my family and friends to stay when they came and visited. So I was under the process to do that. When the permit got pulled, I did not understand the entire process that we're going through right now, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the bylaws, when that got pulled, it was basically under my assumption that this was never going to happen. And I was never going to be able to use the second floor of my garage, which is then at that point, it was virtually, virtually done, everything but sheetrock and all that. So I continued to finish it. And it's at this point now where I finally understand the bylaws and the entire process of the zoning board of appeals. And I'm trying to make things right with the town in good faith. As I mentioned, this is where I live. Couldn't live in Boston anymore due to with the pandemic. I had to move back here, and now I just want to make things right with the town, and basically just get this legal and all above board. And I'm willing to work with the town for what they need.
Let me ask Richard. Richard, what do you think? You mute bomb, buddy.
Questions at this time?
No question. Jake
No questions.
and Chris?
So we're also here for what, I think it's what section 330 it says,
Yeah.
table of
The major
accessory
thing
use of
is
rates.
variance.
I guess I don't have any. Well, the only question, when did you purchase this property? Was it this year?
No, this was back in 2012, I believe,
2012. Okay, thanks.
or 2013. I don't have the precise date. I forget.
Veronica, what do you think?
So for a single family home to be built on MR 30, what's the frontage requirement?
150.
150. So there's nothing non-conforming currently about this lot.
No,
Is that correct?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Let me ask you, if it was single family and it was not an accessory apartment available to the world, if it was just a family member that lived in a detached structure, would it be conforming?
You mean attached structure?
Detached.
Accessory apartment, I don't. you
If
could-
I own my house and my kid lives in the detached structure and up over the garage, is it conforming? It's not a multifamily, it's one
No,
family.
It's not conforming, no,
I'm just asking, I'm devil's advocate.
no. They're not, unfortunately, they're not. All right, anyone in the audience want to speak against this project? Anyone, I want to speak in favor?
Yes,
Yes, who's speaking?
yes, this is Mr. Barty. I represent 25 Weaver Street.
Yeah,
I just wanted to put in favor for Mr. Zaki.
we can't hear you, sir. Just get close to the microphone.
No, I just want to say I'm in favor for what
We're losing you, Mr. Barty.
Hello? Okay, we can't hear them. Before we close the public hearing, what's your wishes, Veronica, on that?
I don't, actually, I'm not sure. I'd actually like more time to kind of review it and just kind of
Okay,
see if we can't come up with something, I guess.
right. I think I feel the same way. Jake? Jake,
Sorry about that. Nothing at this time.
Richard,
Nothing at this time.
all right. Jimmy?
I think, I guess the message I want to send, I believe the applicant, he doesn't want the words to come out of his mouth because when you did something wrong, it's hard to say I did something wrong. I don't want to send a message to the public that it's easier to get forgiveness than it is to get permission. But I don't want to be tough either, if you follow what I'm saying. I think that the guy is trying to make things right by the town. The fact that it exists, it exists. If we said to him, no, you have to tear it down or something, that would be sort of punitive. But
No, you
again,
don't have to tear it down.
concerned about sending a message to anybody watching this meeting, just do what you want and then go to the zoning board and they'll say it's okay. That's the part that's torturing me. I think I'd like to table this and talk to town council before we take a vote.
Right, but he doesn't have to tear it down. He just can't have an apartment. He's not gonna be able to put a kitchen and rent it. Whatever, you know?
So he could continue to use it and his family members could use it. They could sleep there. They could.
Let me ask the commissioner, David, can he have like, say, a bedroom and a bathroom?
So if he has a bedroom and a bathroom, there's actually two approaches to this. So if you treat it as an accessory apartment, it's just a use variance under Article 3. If you treat it as a second dwelling unit, now it becomes a use variance because you can only have one principal residential building per lot. And then you add in, the area. So it's more complicated to do it as a second dwelling unit. Accessory apartments are only permitted in town in one district. So this is not something that's unique to that district. It's across town. We don't have any.
What district? Sorry, David, what district they are allowed?
I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it's permitted in the commercial strip or in the commercial general only.
I think it's commercial general.
Yeah. So
But let me ask
Pretty
you,
sure.
my question is, if you go to inspect and he has a bedroom, living room and a bathroom, no kitchen, you gonna cite him?
If he does not have a kitchen, it's not an apartment.
So, okay. All right.
Can I just ask what's to stop him in a year or so from him moving out and renting it to somebody else?
Nothing. We don't know what he's gonna do. That's the problem. We can't speculate.
Right, and on that same note, if you were to sell the property, now it's a two-family.
No, if we don't grant the variance, it stays a bedroom and apartment. I mean, bedroom and a bathroom or a living room. It's not an
Right.
apartment.
No, if we grant.
And he goes to sell it, he's in trouble.
My comment was, if we were to grant, that it would then be a legal two-family.
That'll be two-family, yes.
Right.
What if we told them it could be for family members only?
No, I don't think it's a good approach or good practice. Personally, that's my personal opinion.
That's why I asked. I want your opinion.
Why don't we table this, continue this, let everybody sleeps about it. And my message to everyone, we don't want this to go out of hand. So let's sleep on it, figure out the way, let's research it more. So let's continue it to the 27th if possible.
I'd like to make a motion to continue to the 27th.
Do I have a second?
Second, Richard Semple.
Okay, all in favor to continue 34-20 to 27, say aye.
Jim, aye.
Veronica Debonese, aye.
Jacob Morrison, aye.
Semple, aye.
And Nazi Al-Khalasi, aye. Thank you. It's continue, Zach, until the 27th, so same time. Thank you. We're
Thank
gonna move forward to 35-20, Alexa Hashem, special permit or a variance on 38 Aggregate Drive.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 PM to consider petition number 3520 for a special permit and or variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 628 and Article 13, Section 1352 under the Wareham zoning bylaws for Alexa Hashem of 166 Marion Road, Middleborough, Mass, proposing to renovate a non-conforming single-family dwelling at 38 Agawam Drive, Wareham, Mass, Assessors Map 129B/3, Lot 53 in the R13 zoning district.
All right, Mrs. Hashem is there? Mrs.?
Yes, Alexa Hashem.
All right, can you say your name and address?
I'm Alexa Hashem, the property owner of 38 Agawam Drive.
Okay, and you let us know what are you doing? What are you planning to do? And what's there
Yes.
first? Let us know what's there, then tell us what you're doing.
So what's there right now is a single family home. And what I am looking to do is replace the roof and rafters at the property. So the roof is in disrepair and in need of replacing. While we are replacing the roof, we are hoping to increase the pitch of the roof to an 8 pitch, so it is not so flat and we're able to have cathedral ceilings inside the home. We are also asking to extend the existing covered roof over the deck 5 feet closer to the end of the home. The existing roof over the deck is 6 feet in from the end of the house, and we are looking to extend to within 1 foot of the house. The home is in 1 foot off of the property line, and the covered roof and deck will be 5 feet. We are also looking to extend the deck the same as the covered roof, as you will see in the attached site plans.
All right, you done, Alexa?
Yes.
All right, I guess it's straightforward. She's an existing non-conforming. She can, if the board feels is not substantial to the neighborhood, we treat it as a special permit, which she can extend her non-conformity. So we're gonna start by Jim, please.
I think I get it. I'm okay. I just, unless there's a neighbor objecting, I would be willing to move in favor of this application.
Okay, we can give her relief to be a special permit if we believe it's not detrimental. All right, this one will be, Chris will be sitting on this. Chris?
I agree. I don't feel it's detrimental to the neighborhood at all.
Okay, very well. Veronica?
I agree. I don't think it's detrimental.
Okay,
I think I'd like to treat it as a special permit.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of this project? I hear none. Is there anyone who want to speak against this project? I hear none. Alexa, do you want to say anything before we close?
No, I'm all set.
She's all set. Okay, that being said, can we get a motion to close?
So moved.
I have a motion to close by Jim. I have a second.
I second Chris Conti.
Oh, he beat me. Put my hand up, trying to get.
It's okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Veronica Debonese.
Hi, Chris Conti.
Hi, Jacob Morrison.
And I, Nazir Kolasi. It's closed. So now, if you guys feel it's not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood, we'll give a relief on 1352. It'll be a special permit.
So moved.
Moved by Jim. Do I have a second?
I second Chris Conti.
Second by Chris. All in favor, say aye.
Jacob Morrison, aye.
Hi, Veronica Debonese.
Chris Conti, aye.
And Nazir Al-Khalasi, aye. That being said, now special permit, what's the wishes?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Make a Jim add a motion to approve and standard condition, and the findings are not detrimental to the neighborhood. Do I have a second?
I second Chris Conti.
Okay, any conditions you guys like to say, or just standard conditions? I guess it's standard. All in favor, say aye.
Jim.
Aye. Aye, Veronica Debonese.
Hi, Chris Conti.
Hi, Jacob Morrison.
And I, Nazir Al-Khalasi, will carry. Thank you, Alexa. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, guys.
Good night.
Hey, Alan, I didn't see you. All right, next one. 36-20, Stephen Webby, and that is 5 Tyler Ave.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 PM to consider petition number 3620 for variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Stephen A. Webby, a care of attorney Julian A. Morton of 184 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, seeking to raise an existing abandoned single-family structure and proposing to replace it with a new 3-family residential structure located at 5 Tyler Avenue, Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 15, lot 1030 in the MR 30 zoning district.
Councilor Morton.
Hi there, good evening. Attorney Jillian Morton here. We're here to present a proposed build on 5 Tyler Ave. This actually, just to start from the onset, was proposed to the planning board on Monday, which Ken was a part of. So it's going parallel between the boards, and then there's been discussion of kind of chicken or the egg, which one first. So I think it came to fruition that they want a determination regarding the variances that we're seeking prior to any approval regarding the use of the special permit. Because there's, if you look at the denial letter from Mr. Aquina, there's a denial as far as the use on that property going to a 3-family. It's a special permit with the planning board. And before you tonight, I am seeking several variances, one for lot size and one for frontage. So thank you, Ken. So there is the build. This is that property that has quite a unique history here in Wareham, being was a single family, which had a bunch of rooms. I think it was 8 bedrooms. Then it switched to that sober home that eventually was burned down. So it's been vacant for quite some time, and kind of a hazard to the town. My client is purchasing the current owners of the Campbells, and he is looking to get this approved to be able to build apartments there. Those would be 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments. There's also discussion regarding what type of housing will this be. This will be market rate, so it's not going to be counted as the affordable housing in that bucket here in Wareham. You can see on the plan, he's done quite a bit of work to be able to configure it on the lot. We're actually making revisions because of the parking. We had some great suggestions from planning board just regarding all those cuts with the 3 different driveways. So we're looking to make some revisions there. But I guess we would like guidance as far as the variances for that lot size and that frontage, seeing that needs to get decided from zoning board first. We are seeking, our lot size has about 19,000 square feet, and the lot size for 3 families in this district is 75,000. So it is quite a bit of variance we're seeking there. And then as well as the frontage there. So we have a certain amount of frontage on Tyler Avenue, and we are short on the 250 that is required. So we're presenting this to you. There's some renderings as well that I believe are on site, so you can kind of see what it would look like. The developer has done this in the past, and there's other builds here in town which are well kept. It surely would be something for the town that I think is much needed for that property that is a hazard. So as far as the statutory requirements regarding the lot size and all the things we have to hit, I think first I want to hear comments from the board regarding the builds and what they perceive about the lot and the size of the build and the units, to be able to then articulate those points to you regarding the frontage and the lot size. So I'd welcome that.
All right, you know the magic question, your statutory requirements,
Yes. Would you like me to articulate them first before I hear comments?
the hardship, the only one I want to hear.
Sure. So the hardship, again, we're going with 2 of them. We have lot size and we have the frontage. The hardship really would be the fact that the builder is looking to develop this land similar to all the other land in this area. So there are many 3 families. There's 5 families that are on even smaller lots in this little cluster, which is surrounded by you have Cranberry Highway right there, and Depot Street. So to deny him on something where there's precedent to be able to have this build there, I think would be a hardship to him. We understand we're looking for these 3 units, that it is, other than there's no impervious variances we're seeking, it's really just the size there. And that we're hoping to be able to get the 3, but we understand that it is an ask.
All right, I'm just gonna start passing it to board members, and this one is Richard sitting on Walter's chair. All right, Veronica.
So first of all, I want to start by saying I think that's, well, clarify. So the lot is 18,000 square feet, is that right?
It's a little, it is, the exact numbers like 18,700 and the required for a 3-family is 7,500. So I know it's a gap.
75,000?
75,000, I apologize.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
no, okay. So that's a very big step from the 18,000, as you said, to the 75,000. So I have a hard time looking past that, especially in light of our prior applicant who simply doesn't have frontage to have second unit. But and then the other thing is there's frontage that's not here, which it would be 250 that's required, and it's at 163. So did I hear you say that a 2-family is allowed at this location? Okay, that's what I thought I heard you said.
Yeah, so if we wanted to do the 2-family, looking at that use table, it is allowed.
How?
It's not?
No.
Let me pull the table up.
You're in MR 30, no?
We are in,
It says.
yes, we're in MR 30.
Yeah, you need 45,000 square feet, 200 feet.
Well,
front.
that's what well, as far as like the use tables go, I know still so special permit for the planning board is for 3-family. When you look at the use table, it is, we can do the 2-family by use. So we wouldn't have to seek that from the planning board, is my understanding.
Planning board, but you'd need
Yeah,
a
but we're
variance.
talking about lot size. Absolutely, you're correct.
So they need it's a variance. Okay, Veronica, keep going.
Okay, yeah, I would have a hard time moving forward with this, and I don't have any other questions.
Richard?
Yeah, good to see the old Pina house would be reconstructed back to some glory, but there's a lot going on to make it a 3-family. I believe there's some concerns on who's going to be in those apartments, and I also would have a hard time right at this moment to grant it for a 3-family. I would just like to see it either continued or give us some more time. But if the board wants to make a judgment, then I'm for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Well, I gotta say, I started out very much opposed to the application on the surface. I think it is a big reach. But I will say at this time, I'd request that the letter by Derek Sullivan be read into the record. That did influence my thinking.
Jimmy, that's not a public record, a public letter, that's confidential.
That was confidential?
Yeah, unless he sent it to the zoning board.
I thought it was addressed to the board.
He addressed it to the board, the chairman and the board.
It can be read. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna allow it to be read. You could make your own judgment, I mean, your recommendation, but you can't read it.
You read.
Nazmi, can I make a comment?
Who's this?
Alan Slavin.
Yes, Alan.
It was sent to the board. Derek knew you were in Lebanon. You weren't sure he could get a hold of you. The letter was sent to the board to be read.
I didn't see instruction to, I cannot read this letter right now. I can't see instruction. I will have to hold on this. I can't read it right now without consent from Mr. Sullivan. If you guys want to continue, we'll continue. If not, we could continue it for next year.
I can continue to comment without the letter being read. Sorry, somebody else trying to speak? Okay. My comment would be that, again, I reiterate that I think a 2-family would be a little bit less of a lot less of an ask and a little easier to agree to. But it's been brought to my attention that there are members of the town that feel that if this was not a market rate ask, if one of the 3 units was deemed affordable, all 3 could count as affordable housing, and it would build to our affordable inventory. And that would be a benefit to the town. And that would influence my thinking. That's my comment.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think it would be wise to continue with this new information, which I haven't seen myself. So I would ask the board for a continuance to be able
Okay.
to review my client.
And I didn't do my input. I don't think it's personally, I think it's I don't mind issuing variances for setbacks and stuff, but creating new units, I have hard time myself and making lots buildable. So that's my personal opinion. All right, so you wish to continue until the 27th? Do I have can I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Do I have a second to continue? What number?
Second, Richard Semple.
Second by Richard. All in favor to continue to 27 for Tyler Ave, say aye.
Aye. Aye, Veronica Debonese.
Hi, Richard Semple.
Jim, I.
And Nazir Al-Khalasi, aye. So it's continued till 27. Thank you, Councilor. All right, we go to 37-20, Stephen and Mary Ramsey, or 118/120 Pinehurst Drive.
The zoning board of appeals will hold an online public hearing on January 13th, 2021 at 6:30 PM to consider petition number 3720 for a variance from the requirements of section 625, note 6 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Stephen and Mary Ramsey, care of Attorney Julian A. Morton of 184 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, seeking a variance for front setbacks of the accessory building located at 118/120 Pinehurst Drive, Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 46A, lot 1-54 and 1-55 in the R30 zoning district.
Very well, Attorney Morton, you again.
Hi, Attorney Jillian Morton here for the Ramseys who own this property. Mr. Buckland, if you're able to put up the plan, I'm not sure, I can try to do it too. But all the board should have that in their materials. This is a similar situation to the case that you heard before regarding a notice of violation that my clients kind of went ahead in good faith. They actually went to the conservation board because this is a property that is directly abutting the water right there. So they had to do a seawall and go through the whole process as well. So they were very concerned not to touch that 30-foot no buffer zone. So they went ahead, got everything approved and bought their materials and then realized that they, when they got the violation, they were 5 feet above, we have our zoning bylaw for accessory buildings that need to be parallel in this district. They're 5 feet in front. Now, you've had this a lot in front of you, waterfront properties that have those garages, those accessory buildings ahead of them. And I want to make it very clear that this garage is not living space. My clients are hoping to put their boat in there, car. So it's another, case where we've gone ahead kind of in good faith. So, we welcome any comments regarding the property. The owners love it here. They really want to, they were, saddened to hear that they had a violation. So we're here to just seek this 5 foot. It is a little bit in front, which, as you know, we cannot do that. And then in your materials, we actually, and if you've driven by this area, Pinehurst, most of the garages are either on the street or even closer than our property. So they have a double lot here, as you can see. So it's well within and not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. We've notified all the abutters regarding it as well. So welcome any comments from the board and be happy to answer.
All right, very well, pretty straightforward. And I guess according to our commissioner, it's an existing non-conforming, but the accessory buildings don't comply for that. So definitely a variance and it's
Absolutely.
there. And there's no apartment in it or living space. So we'll start by ladies, Veronica. And this one, Mr. Conti was set on that. Veronica.
Okay, you can hear me? This was, so there was a permit issued for this again? This is a situation where there was a permit issued?
Yeah, so in your materials, the homeowners actually did a timeline of when they poured the footing, poured the foundation, backfilled, and then they were notified again by George that that they were in violation and received their letter. And that was, they were going through the conservation process as well. There was another on, Ken, if you go back, you can see there used to be a shed where this garage is now, if you kind of go up, just to have a visual for everyone. Right there. So you can kind of see it's a double lot over there in Pinehurst. And that shed is demolished, and that's where the garage is.
I'm familiar with Pinehurst. I walk it
in
my lunch break most every day. So a lot of the garages are in front of the houses. I don't see a problem.
Yeah,
with this
but,
project.
okay, but what's above the garage, Counselor? Looks to me like an apartment.
No, that's a different property, Naz.
There's no apartment, no living space.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, these are my examples. You know, the clients just walk down the street. You can see there's garages, right? There's actually a new build, that big one that is right on the street.
All right, but so these. Okay, so the things you have on file for 120, these are, I don't know if you could see this. I don't have plans from you, but what's this? Can you see that?
Yes, that's the architectural renderings of the garage.
Yeah,
The
but
very end,
what's above it?
storage. There's no intention for any living space, bedroom, storage. Put all his snowblower, or not snowblowers, you can carry that up there, but kayaks, different things, storage.
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify here? Jillian,
Yeah. Who's speaking?
Dave Requena wants to speak.
Building
Oh,
commissioner, Dave
Commissioner,
Quinn.
go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Okay, so what happened on this property was there was a permit issued for a conforming garage. When it was approved, the garage was in line with the front of the house, detached. There were no issues. Our inspector, George, went out there, noticed that it was in a different location than what was approved. I contacted Mr. Ramsey, and he expressed to me that it was an honest mistake. He was actually trying to get even further away from the conservation buffer zone. He thought he was doing a good thing, not realizing that he was creating another violation on the other side. The building department has no issues at all with this project. Outside of him creating a new violation, that's just about it. If you guys were to grant that relief, we don't have any issue.
Okay, very good. Now, if everybody notices, he has the right setback 20 feet. The variance is because the garage steps in front of the house, which is not, that's what he's here for. But
Right.
he does have the 20 feet from the street. He has the right setback.
So if it was attached to the structure, he would meet the setback, but our bylaw says
He
that
wouldn't need to be here. If he has a breezeway, he doesn't even have to be here because he has plenty of setback from the street. So it's only a variance because he sets on the front of the house. That's all.
Right.
Supposed to be in line with the house.
right. Detached accessory buildings have to be in line with the front of the house or behind.
Or behind, so everybody
That's the
understands.
setback
But he
for-
does meet setback in the front.
Correct.
Okay, Jimmy,
It's a no-brainer to me. Let him
Okay.
have it.
nice, quick answer. County, Rich, Chris,
I agree. I have no problems.
Veronica,
No problems.
from Richard, any input? No problem.
No input at this time.
All right, very good. Anyone from the audience want to speak in favor of this project? Anyone against? I hear one. I hear none. Mrs. Councilor Moore, and you want to close with something, or you good?
No, I appreciate. I know you have a heavy docket, so.
All right, very well. So here, no discussion. Let's move to close.
So moved.
Motion to close by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jake Morrison. All in favor, say aye, state their names.
I, Veronica Debonese.
Hi, Chris Conti.
Hi, Jim Akabachi.
And I, Nazir Kalasi. It carries.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you. You guys ready to keep going or you tired?
Keep going.
time
The
is
only
it
one
for
that's
you?
Tired is the guy that's at 2 o'clock in the
And
morning.
3 a.m. 3
3
a.m.
a.m.?
Yeah, so let's continue. We're gonna continue public hearing 22-20. Frederick.
Wait a minute, you have to make a decision on that one first. You just closed the hearing.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Sorry, I thought we did. Oh, so we had.
We'll
more.
forgive you. It is
Oh,
3 a.m.
All right, thank you. So we made a motion to close. Thank you, Ken. So what's the wishes of the board on the variance?
Make a motion to grant relief.
Okay, I have a motion by Jim to grant the variance. I have a second.
Second that.
Second by Richard. And
Jacob Morrison.
Second by Jake. I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
I, Veronica Debonese.
Hi, Chris Conti.
And I, Nazir Al-Khalasi.
And I, Jim.
And Jake, I need aye from you.
Aye, Jacob Morrison.
All right, very well. Now it carries. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. We're gonna do continued public hearing 22-20 on 238 and 240 Sandwich Road. Is Mr. Mannix in?
I am, yes.
All right, the public hearing still open. Just to forewarn you, we're gonna need a written consent if we don't make a decision tonight to continue the hearing. It's gonna be written by you, and you don't have to give it to us, but if you don't, we will have to close and make a decision.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
I defer to Jillian on that. I think in the interest of time, I think it's going well, and I don't want to slow that down. There are two things that really I'd like to bring before you. We're not looking for a decision tonight. We want to show you the revised drawing made upon the suggestion from the board about the gable on the building. And the other thing is there were some comments made by the Wareham Fire Department regarding the ambulance. And I believe the width of the fire lane, unfortunately, Mike Pimentel, our record engineer, has contracted the COVID. But I spoke to the fire department today and told them what we're planning on doing. We're going to submit the plan as soon as we can. And I think we're going to accommodate their wishes. Just to let you know what happened, because Chris Smith, I don't know if he's here tonight, but he brought up the ambulance. The only question from the Wareham Fire Department was they wanted to see the plan. They're going to give it to EMT just to make sure that they had the right size ambulance planned. I think we gave you a new sketch of the suggestion. You know, I'd like to, I don't know if Ken, if you have that.
Sonia, I believe, uploaded the new rendering.
I saw them. Basically, they took the hip roof, they took the gable roof off the northeast end, the east side.
Right. We looked at a couple of suggestions, and we felt this would be, get rid of the gable. I think the building looks fine. I just see what the board thinks, and then we'll go from there. And if we have some kind of direction, we'll probably make that as our submission the next time we put the plans together.
All right.
I also, the last thing is I'd like to see if there's anybody from the public to make more comments on this thing so that we can finalize a submittal drawings for the board to make a decision at a later date.
All right. Before we go forward, I gotta talk. Jake, do you hear me? Jake
Morrison.
Jake, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you missed last hearing for this, but under the Mullen rules, you could jump back in if you could say you did review the tapes and you're okay to come back in.
Yes, I did. I did review the tapes and I can jump in.
Okay, very good. So, and on that hearing, if I could read my records, was it Richard or I think Richard was in it, right? The first hearing? Richard, do you recall you were on that from scratch or Chris?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I have it written here. So it was Richard, right? Okay, so Jake is back in. So, and Richard will be voting on this for Walter Cruz. Okay, sorry, Councilor, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Fred.
I'll just, this is the view from Sandwich Road, which is, hasn't changed except for the far end. We took the gable off. The next slide, the next, I believe it's A13, is the view that brought the comments the last time. I think you have them both.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Ken. This is the end where the gable, it was felt that the gable made the building look taller, which I agree that it did. We were trying to make that an impact, but what we did was we took off that top porch and wrapped the roofing around to be in conformity with the rest of it. So this is the view that we've come up with. And just wanted to see if we get a comment from the board as to the direction we're going.
All right, well, Councilor, you want to say something before we start?
No, I guess just to your first point about the continuance, obviously our engineer, we had some delays and I know Mr. Rowley wants to see the full plan. So we're working on them. So we'll submit a request for most likely if the board sees fit for February for the second meeting in
All right,
February.
you just gotta email a letter to Mr. Butler,
Absolutely.
and you sign it. Okay, very good.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I believe we're gonna go back to Veronica with this one. Start with Veronica. What's your input now that he moved the gable?
I like the look of it better without the gable. I thought the gable had made it look even more massive, so I do like that it's gone. From this view looking up toward the building, I think it's a little difficult to see the actual height and what is going to be, really visible from, the street.
If
I know
if I may comment, I'm sorry, Veronica, we once we engage the landscape architect, I think the next time we make a presentation, I'll try to put some more views together and try to nail it down a little bit better. I think if I can get some direction that at least I'm heading in the right direction, I would like to finally submit a set of drawings that the board can act on.
I do like what you have here. The last meeting, it was, it was suggested and there was agreement about decreasing the height of the building, which obviously as a businessman, you wouldn't want to do, I'm assuming, that would affect finances and what the building would produce. Looking at this though, I still do think that, as much as I really like the fact that there's a solarium there, I don't like that it increases the height because the building in the first place is large, very large for the area, and I do feel like it's going to stand out. But looking at this, I mean, there are other options. What if you were to, and to keep the solarium and you were to say, bear with me, just kind of think about what I'm trying to say. The top level, rather than removing the whole top level, even half of it, and set down the solarium so that you would have windows that were actually looking onto the solarium and have residences looking out at it so that your height would be decreased, obviously, which is in the size of the building would be less. I mean, you would have less apartments, but not substantially less. Just a thought.
again, I don't want to get into it. I think for reasons of time, but I'll note your comment and let me look at it just as I have done before. You know, I take a look at what people have to say and if we can convert it into something on paper, I'll be certain to put it in. Maybe the next time we'll give you some alternate looks that we can do. I don't know.
I think, let me put my 2 cents in. I think it's very important that we let Mr. Mannix, these are all preliminary plans, don't have no details at all. We need to let him come up with an agreement, all of us, what we really gonna think, so he could go to work. He hasn't even started work. These are all conceptual plans, don't mean nothing for us. So the details, the site plan, all this work, but we don't, I believe Mr. Mannix he wants the direction from us to go to work. He doesn't want to go do all this work, which I understand. Then we come back and say, you know what, knock off 2 stories or 1 story. So I guess, Mr. Mannix, now it's up to you. I guess you're gonna lose another hearing to come up and say if that works for you, half and half, like Veronica said. So you're gonna lose like 10 units. So, well, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, and I think that I'm prepared to, you know, depending on what I hear tonight, I'm prepared to make a final submittal that I would then the board could, you know, either approve it or not approve it based upon my submittal and based upon the things that you require for a submittal. I haven't even given you all the stuff you need, like drainage calculations and stuff like that. So I want to proceed with that. I don't see anything here now that stops me from making the site plan, drainage calculations, the landscaping. I don't think any of that's going to change significantly, even if we do something different to the design. I think the building has been placed in such a way that the fire department's happy with the access. I think that they're not completely, they haven't approved it because they haven't seen it. I'd like to get it to the building commissioner to, you know, make sure that we have it to him and have it to everybody in a formal presentation. I don't think that I want to continue this much longer. I don't think you want to continue it much longer, but it seems to me that we're getting very close to making me feel comfortable that we can do something, and we can discuss the height and do something. Veronica's suggestion, I don't know whether it's good or bad right now because we'll have to look at it, but just taking something off. The solarium is important to have some clearance in front of it. It's kind of hard to have a solarium that's not standing by itself. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, let me reach to Richard. Richard.
Yeah, I know that this is permitted in the size and then in the zone that it is, but I've driven by there 25 times or so, and I keep looking and I try to justify and see the size of this building, what it would do to everything around it. And I guess I'm just a creature of habit, and I have a hard time seeing such a big building in that area, in that time. And I just guess got to say, I'm just having a hard time with the size of the building. But again, it's not for me to say. But I haven't seen any movement by Mr. Mannix to try and bring it down because, again, he said that it's all approved. Well, not approved, but it's to spec for what could go in that strip area. So again, I just have a real hard time with the whole size of that building in that area. And that's all I
Richard,
got to say.
Mr. Mannix, how long is that building?
Well, I'll tell you exactly. I believe it's 254 feet or 264 feet. My eyes are getting old.
All right, let's move to Jake. Jake, what do you think?
I have no questions at this time.
All right, Jimmy, what do you think?
I'm all set.
You good? In what Richard said, I believe if you work with the facade, you could break that length. If you do put some more work along Sandwich Road, and you could really, the way you see it right now, I understand what Richard's saying, but if you have some design into it to break it, it might work. Just like, look at the big reference, you move that gable. look at it, it was so invasive. It made such a big difference.
Yep.
If you could do some designs in between, it makes a big difference. I don't have a problem myself with the solarium and the roof. I mean, dropping it down half a story, I don't think it matters. I mean, drop it down a story, I think it's a plus. The solarium is a plus all the way around. It just to break that 250 feet long. I mean, if you look at half of the building, if you look at your hand at the half of the building and you see with the porches, it's beautiful. And if you put your half to the other side with the entrance, it's beautiful. But when you put them together, it becomes invasive. So my question to your architect, what can you do to break that thing? So you understand what I'm saying, everyone? So like looking half and half, it's fine, but when you put it together, it's a problem.
Naz, it could be as simple as just bringing the brick veneer up all 4 stories.
Yeah,
in that
or
metal
stone, that would be, I mean, I'm not an architect, but you want to break that stretch. How, I don't know. I think that's what Richard's talking about. And like I said, if you come back with something like this, it might make Richard happy. Just like, I guess, Veronica, she's happy moving that gable. And as well, myself, before, I saw invasive too much before. That's why I asked you to do a hip roof.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we have spent some time on thought, on different things here. And I understand what you're saying. I've got an idea. Taking some of the finished material, the surface material, and varying it. We were looking at that. We weren't sure how it was going to look, but I could look into that. I understand what you're asking me to do, but I guess my thing is that the fact of the matter is the building size is the dimensionals that we're looking for in the basic building conforming to the bylaw. The look of the building is another matter.
Right.
I don't think that the look of the building is so much in the bylaw, but it's in the eye of the beholder, and the town of Wareham, the people around it, and you as collectively as a board have not only a lot to say. I really appreciate what you're saying, because I hear it. I'm looking at it right now, and maybe taking one of the bays and making it a different material would do that kind of breakup. I really get it. And let me bring that in, but I would like to get all the Mr. Rowley has brought out on more than one occasion that he doesn't have all the documentation he needs to make a peer review, and I agree with him. So I think at some point I'd like to get the whole package put into the board. And I don't feel that if we change the look of the facade a little bit with brick, I don't think that's going to change the siding of the building. It's not going to change the site plan. It's not going to change very much of anything. I can't change the access for the fire truck. If the Wareham Fire Department is happy with the way the fire truck can, the ladder truck can go around the building, then I think the site plan is going to be in pretty good shape. I will look into that. We have considered it. Let's see how it looks. That's what we did here with this, and I agree that it came out better looking.
I do agree that the site plan is not going to make a difference, but
Right.
if you're gonna ask the board for a variance, and I mean, and you need to, I understand if you don't want to do the solarium, that's right. It's not in the bylaws to change the facade or make you change the window looks and stuff, but I'm trying to help everyone around here.
Mhm.
If you want to ask for a variance for solarium and you got to give something to the board in return,
Yep.
I don't know that I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for Mr. Sample, but that's my opinion.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, and I hope you'll agree that I've been more than cooperative and accommodating to the wishes of the board, and I want to continue to do that. And as a matter of fact, I'd like to make sure we have enough time for input from the neighbors, because I want to hear some of that.
Right. I do agree. You work with the board and everything, but I'm only one vote. That's the thing.
Oh,
You know?
I like all your votes. I'd like to get everybody on board on this. I
But
think
that's
it's a good
what I
project.
like. I'd like everybody to go on board. I don't like somebody unhappy with
Right.
with a
No, I
project
agree.
like this. All right, so, Jim, you got any input? Nothing?
I'm pretty satisfied with the way things are going. I think we need to see the final drawings.
Right.
I really think we're waxing redundant over minutia. I think we need to let this man go to work on his drawings.
Okay, Veronica, one last time.
Well, I just want to reiterate what I had said, and the comments were about breaking up the building. And my thought is you have 264-foot length building. If half of that top floor were used for the atrium, you could center it, maybe, still having decent clearance on either side, and again, have apartments that were even accessible to the atrium, or, you know, could view it from their apartment room, and it would drop the level of height. You'd be close to conforming. But I think it would break up the long run, which is what's been discussed, especially if it were centered and you had apartments to the right and the left. And I think, you know, that would be, to me, that would be giving us a little bit of what we're looking for, because I mean, I really love the idea of the atrium and having some kind of congregation area that's, you know, welcoming and something special on the roof. So I don't want to say no for the height because it's going to get rid of the atrium, but I also can't just say yes because the height's an issue for me in that area.
I understand. I think one of the things that the board has to take into consideration, I know people drive by there, but the most of the height is exposed down at this end of Sandwich Road. As the property does go up on Plymouth Road, you know, the building is actually below the road, not below the road, but the first floor is below the road. So the height at that end of the property is well below the allowed height. The problem is at this end of the property, and I think if this is kind of, you got to understand that we're looking at this building to look at the entire building. You don't see Route 28, which is not too far to the right of this picture, which is about approximately 14 feet above where I'm standing now, looking at this here. So it isn't as much of a standout as it is in this photograph. And maybe I can get the landscape architect to put this building in context, like some of the prior people brought in like a picture, and we can take a picture of the thing and the picture of the property, excuse me, and make the try to cite it within the existing road work and property size. And I think maybe that might help to look your decision making.
All right, let's go to the audience. Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? All right, but there's no audience, which is good. So I guess, Jake, you want to make a final comment?
No comments at this time.
Okay. So,
Mr. Chair, this is Chris.
Yes, Chris, sorry.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Like we've all said, I think Veronica said, Richard said, we all thought this was like too massive of a building. He's come back. I don't know how many times have we been here discussing this with him. I don't think he's done anything to reduce what I think is a big, massive building there. To me, I think he's tried to put a facade on the front of it, make it look so it looks smaller, but it's still a huge footprint on that small piece of land. And I guess those are my comments.
Thank you, Chris. All right. So I guess, Mr. Man, I guess you have to do what you have to do, Mr. Mannix. So if you want to go with the site plan, and there's no promises, hopefully, I mean, it looks like you have a couple of people you have to convince harder, that's all.
That's right. I understand.
Actually, one person, I mean, no answer is a good answer. Mr. Morrison saying no comments, so that's a good one. I feel Jim is okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. I like to see a break in the middle. Veronica's idea of putting solarium in the middle was fantastic. Getting good in the old days, Veronica. So that's a good
Hey,
thing.
Nazi, I do have a quick recommendation. This is Jacob.
Go ahead.
Just over by the 99, the apartments that they put in behind there, how they split it up was by painting each building. It's kind of separated where they bump out and go in and out. They painted them different colors, so it looked like totally different buildings, and it makes them look much smaller. So that might be something that he might want to look into. Is just changing the color, and splitting it up like that. And that's it will make it look smaller for sure.
Right, that's what I'm saying, Richard. So anything from your architect could be as simple as paint, like Jake saying. I mean, that gable made so much difference.
It did. No, Jake, I did go by there. I know exactly what you're talking about. And again, I'm trying to get the bulk and the design. I think the colors and that that can be left up to a couple of different things. I'll do that. I'll get you a picture of that. It's pretty hard to constantly change the design of the bulk of the building, of the dimensions of the building, without going through a lot with the drawings. Changing the color or something and doing that kind of thing is fairly easy. But what the board has asked me to do, I'm willing to do it, and I have done it. But it's taken a little bit of work to make some of these changes. It's not as simple as it sounds. You have to do a lot of work on the CAD to get to take the gable off. Takes a little bit of time. It took time to put it on. It takes not too much time to remove it. And then to change this, it took some time. But I get what you're saying, and I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've driven around the town for ideas myself, and I thought that was a good idea down there.
All right. Okay, that being said,
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
With the suggestion of the brick facade, I think that's going to just add a humongous cost to them. But I do agree with Jake, maybe splitting the colors up would be a good idea.
Yep.
And
okay.
Other than that, we'll wait to see finished plans.
Thank you.
Okay, so Attorney Morton, are you gonna write something to extend the
decision deadline? Yeah, and have a hearing date of February 10th, I believe, Chairman.
You want February 10?
Yes.
We have a 27. You want to go to 10?
Yeah, just to give time for our engineer, who obviously is in at least 2 weeks now.
Very good.
Out, so.
And that is okay. Can we have a motion to continue 22-20, 238 Sandwich Road till February 10th?
I'll make a motion to continue.
Okay, we have a motion to continue by Veronica. Do I have a second?
Second, Richard Semple.
Okay, all in favor to continue, say aye.
Jim Akabachi, aye.
Jacob Morrison, aye.
Semple, aye.
And Nazir Kalasi, aye. Okay, so we'll see you on the February 10th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and okay, and I guess now I can open this thing. Okay, and the last open hearing, Littleton Drive, and it is okay, and it is the 30-20 Penrose LLC. Okay.
Evening.
Good evening. Good evening. So public hearing still open, so you're good to go. Richard, I guess.
I'm Richard Clater, but I think I would turn it over to Charlie Adams to make some introductory remarks.
Ken, was there anything you wanted to start with before we get in?
What's that, Charlie?
No, I was asking if I was actually turning it back to Ken Buckland if there's anything he wanted to introduce before we get started.
But let me again. I gotta talk to Mr. Morrison. He missed one under the Mullen rules. He could go back in. Jake, are you comfortable to go back in this hearing? And did you see the minutes?
Yes, I have.
I mean the tapes. Okay, so Jake back in, and I believe this project was Chris on it, right? Chris?
I think so.
Yeah, let me look at my records. I'll find out.
We've
right.
all been here.
All right, Charlie, wanna go ahead? Ken, did you wanna say something?
Yeah, just that we've been working pretty hard on this for a long time. Got before the Board of Appeals with the hearings, and appreciate the comments and the design differences that have been made in the plan. And I'm hoping that we can get this to a point where we are talking about technical details on the plans and can advance them on the technical level in the permitting process. Rather than put it through the public hearing process in a more lengthy timeframe. We have a draft decision that was prepared by Paul Haverty and, or I should say, Mark Bobrowski and Paul Haverty. Similar, we've gone through the waiver requests and made some comments on them, and we can discuss how we get the project moving forward. We're looking to try to get some kind of decision by the 20th of this month, so that an application can be made for tax credits on the 21st, and get this one in the loop to be on the state list for tax credits. We luckily had a Mass Housing, the premier state housing agency for the state of Massachusetts, in support of our project and negotiating for us at DHCD to accommodate the application for the senior housing, which is an important component of this project. And we're looking to make that happen, as town meeting asked us to do in the spring of 2019.
All right, very good. And for the record, it is Chris Conti who started from beginning with this. All right, Charlie.
Yes. So since the last time we met again, thank you for having us again. I got my team here that can answer the real questions about this stuff. But since we last met, we've had the opportunity to meet with the planning board. The meeting went very well. We got some nice feedback from them. We've talked more with some of the neighborhood folks. We'll be setting up a group with the folks on Littleton Drive, for a sort of a construction monitoring kind of group as we go forward. So we've committed to that. The biggest new news we had was we got the peer review a couple of days ago, and our guys jumped right on it. And so we've gone through it, and we feel confident that there's nothing major there that we can't do. I think we've had a chance to look at it. There is one minor thing that I was going to turn over to have Rich Clater just make a comment on that we think we're fine on, but we wanted to clear. That's the one thing we wanted to clarify with respect to the peer review. But everything else seems to be something we can handle and make the adjustments.
I did read the peer review. Unfortunately, I read the one, which is, it took me quite time, the January 4th one, and I had all my comments on it and everything. Then I got one today, which is, I couldn't print it. It was for January 12th, I think, dated. Just got, let's see,
January 11.
January 11. I went through it quick. Yeah, most of it, some cleaning up the plans, some notes.
Yeah.
And some like encroaching, some about the handicap parking lots. I'm sure you guys read it all, has to be set properly. Some small parking lots that doesn't meet the sizes. Some revision date columns in your plans. Some meets and bounds has to be reflected in a separate sheet or other sheets. The side where the handicap thing and has to be on near the side, near the crosswalk. Brown Street has to be labeled. Some cleaning up, and it went on and on. You get the sheds encroaching and the garage. The stormwater management. I think in the review they talked about the operation and maintenance, and it should reflect on the plan properly. I mean, I couldn't get into it much. Did you guys address this issue?
Rich, do you want to address some of these? Rich Clater?
Got it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Rich Clater, President of Horsley Witten Group, for the record, engineer of record for our team. Yeah, we did review the comments, and I think they fall into two categories. Those that we would address immediately, and so that you have a plan of record that reflects the kind of comments. These are the things you were talking about, Mr. Chairman. And then there's several in there that are what I would call construction related details, final design components that we would address with a condition if you think that's warranted. The two items, the one that Charlie mentioned, one of the comments in the report is asking to do some more infiltration testing or soils testing on the site. And I'm not sure the peer reviewer, we submitted the soil test pits with our drainage report, but we did not submit the soil borings that were done for the structural building. And the soil borings, there are, I don't know, 15 of them across the site, and several of them very close to where we're proposing our control measures. And what they show is very uniform soil conditions across the whole site. So we did not think that we needed to do that. And I can show you those borings where they were taken in comparison to where we're doing. And I can show you the logs real quickly that they are sand and they drilled down to 27, 29 feet across the site. So we feel very confident that we don't really need to do that additional work in the short term because we have a good testing component. And then from the stormwater management standpoint, in terms of maintenance, we did submit a detailed operation and maintenance plan with our submission on the 30th of December. The peer reviewers had that. They didn't comment specifically on the content of the plan. They did note that these underground chambers need to be cleaned out by a special vac truck that it requires some special treatment, but these systems are being installed after surface stormwater controls, and so they will have pre-treatment, and so they really shouldn't see the same amount of sediment as you would normally see, and so they're not going to need the cleanout frequency that is referenced. That being said, that'll be part of the maintenance plan and the maintenance budget, so we'll incorporate that in the plan. And the only other thing I'd like to note is we did resubmit the plans today to Wareham Fire and Water, and so that it include the revised water system network with the comments that we received from them and the revised fire access components that we showed you last week. I have an updated plan if you want to look at that. We haven't resubmitted to you yet because we thought we'd have this conversation today, and then we'll get that into you as soon as we can. Happy to entertain any additional questions or comments that you have on the letter or on the process to date.
I will pass it to the board. I have a quick, where do you stand with the sewer? What do you guys decide? How many grinders, how many tanks? What do you guys come up with?
We haven't gotten specific feedback on the detailed design. My colleague Joe Henderson is also on the line or on the hearing here. If Joe has anything he wants to add on that, Joe, step in.
Sure. For the record, my name is Joe Henderson. I'm a senior engineer at Horsley Witten, and just to kind of give a summary of the sewer, we are proposing a grinder pump lift station. So we feel it will address any concerns that the commission had specifically with the flushable wipes. I know there's a big concern with those. So we're proposing a grinder system that would grind all that up before sending it into the town sewer system.
All right. Actually, that would be Mr. Campina call. I mean, you'll have to work with him. I would just question a couple of things. You know, I read the thing on the 12, that letter, that recommendation from GSE. I get to half of it. Have you guys? It's issue on the 11th. So a couple of days ago, you guys went through it item by item.
We jumped all over it. I mean, this is, you give it to us, we'll respond. So Rich and his team and TT, they've gone through the letter. So.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll talk more about it. Let's pass it to the board, see what they say. Let's go start by Veronica.
I don't have a comment at this time. I'd like to hear what else everyone has to say.
Jimmy.
I got nothing for this engineering letter. My only comment is going to have to do with traffic, and so now is probably not the right time.
All right, Chris.
I have no comments right now. Thanks.
Richard, do you have any input?
No comments right now, sir.
I wanna ask Mrs. Slavin and for the conservation, how they make out, and if, I mean, not that it matters for us. I mean, it's not irrelevant for us, but do you have any comment, Sandy? I see you watching. Take your mute button off. You got push. Take your mute so we could hear you. Bottom left corner. No, we can't hear you. Mute. Sandy.
There goes.
Here you
Am I-
go. Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
Just give us some quick input so everybody's filled in. And
Alan doesn't-
if I may, my specific question is Flex Pond is it the vernal pool, is it registered? Was it registered? Just I had some.
The pond is not a certified vernal pool. One of the discussions we had is that we would have it reviewed and tested in the spring as to whether or not it is a real vernal pool, but the town bylaws says that we can treat it as such for the setbacks. But the conservation has continued this until the 20th.
Okay, so you don't have an approval yet. You guys continue it.
We are continuing. We were very concerned about the outfall from the stormwater drains to come that close to the pond. They've pulled it back. The walkway was within 50 feet. They've pulled it back. So we're continuing it. But I want to make a comment on sewer. They're coming to the sewer commissioners tomorrow night for the very first time. No one has ever talked to us about Littleton Drive. So commissioners are hearing it for the first time.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Alan, would you comment?
Alan.
I mean, sorry, Ken, sorry, not Alan.
Okay.
Kenny, so you expect the board to grant this permit tonight and all these things hasn't been answered?
I was thinking that there'd be conditional approval to address them, and we could spend another week working on it. It's a big team working on this project, and have some answers for next Wednesday.
I'll ask the boards. Jimmy, what do you think? I mean, are you willing to give a vote today? Yes or no, or whatever?
Yeah, I'm willing. I just don't. If we feel like the tail's wagging the dog, then if we miss a year on the application, we miss a year. We spent an awful lot of time on the application at the end of Head of the Bay Road, and I just don't want people in the community thinking that just because the town is selling it, we're rubber stamping this. I don't want to give any looks of impropriety.
Just for the record, they're giving it. They're not selling it. So
I understand that, but you know, don't.
That's worse.
Yes, but you understand. I'm looking at it from the eyes of people that don't know that.
I understand. Richard.
Well, it sounds like somebody who's just finding out about all this, they haven't gone to the sewer department we just heard. And my other question is, how are you coming along with the neighborhood there, with the people that there's a couple of houses that you're going to encompass completely with this development? How do we know that you're been in touch with them or doing anything for them or with them or taking their concern?
Well, Mr. Chairman, can I address that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, a couple of things. You know, we can talk about the sewer later. But
It's just that you want to have some kind of a vote, and I'm just curious. I mean, it's kind of tough to give a vote when we're hearing that there's just certain people already, but I guess it could be some things worked into this, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a couple of things. We have been working on this for a long time. We have been in touch with the neighborhood. I was out there knocking door to door with folks. I've talked with a bunch of folks since then individually. I put my number out at all these public meetings. Anybody's free to contact me at any point in time. The comment about enveloping on someone's property, none of our, I mean, we if you look at the map, or the area that we're developing is extremely far away from anybody's property. So we're not encroaching on anyone's property. What's happened over time is because that the conservation land wasn't marked, there are people that are actually using the conservation land as their backyard. There are sheds, there are a couple of other things. We have said to everybody that I have met, we have identified all those, and we've talked to, I believe, everybody that has some kind of an encroachment on it, that we're not going to make them move their stuff. We will work with them as long as it's not in the way of what we're doing. And so far, our plans are showing that it's not in the way. We're going to give them a license to continue to use that. There's one exception of there is a shed that actually is right near where the parking lot is. And I've actually met with that abutter, and I've talked to him, and I said, we will move your shed at our cost. And if we break your shed in the moving, we buy you a new one. So we're not trying to take anybody's land away, even though it's actually on town-owned land. We're trying to be respectful because that's land that they've used. And so we've met with all the neighborhood folks there. The biggest issue, folks didn't want to see traffic coming down Nichols, and we've accommodated that. I've met with the folks on Littleton Drive. We've talked about putting together a committee for those folks. We've talked about traffic improvements that we're going to make to that street. We're going to redo the street. We're going to put in a sidewalk. We're going to put in a stop line. We're going to put in a stop sign. And we even talked about, with this group, adding traffic calming measures actually on Swifts Beach Road. And so the people to date that I've talked to, we've tried to address their concerns best we can, and we'll continue to do that. We're trying to get an application into funding because, you know, this is what we've committed to do. We've been working with the town for a while. This doesn't stop the process, right? You know, we're at the 40% drawings. We're going to be continuing to work on this project over the next course of the year. Things will come up as we do this, as we develop our plans. We'll probably have to come back to you and talk to you about some little things here or there as they come up. And we welcome that. We want to have that discussion because we want to continue to be, you know, we want to be a good neighbor. We really need the zoning approval to move this thing forward now. And that was the commitment that the WRA wanted us to do, and we made that commitment back. And that's why we've been working as hard as we can, as quickly as we can, to satisfy the town's desires to get this thing done. But by no means does this mean that this is all over at this point in time. It will be a continual process. And we have a website that's set up that talks about what we're doing. We're notifying people when we're on the site. We'll set up, as I mentioned earlier, we'll set up a group with the local neighborhood there on Littleton Drive as construction traffic comes in and out, so that they're aware of the schedule, and there'll be us. So I think, you know, there's still a lot of community process. With respect to the sewer, we have worked on the sewer a lot. We haven't gone to the board specifically, but our team has actually spent a lot of time trying to coordinate with Guy and with other folks. We've talked to the WRA about it. We've talked to different folks about it. And so, you know, we are trying to address that sewer, and we have been thinking about it and talking about it. We just haven't been able to get to the board.
All right. Ken, what's the deadline? Is it the 20s? You said they need to have the answer, 21?
Well, for the low-income housing tax credits, there's an application period that starts January 21st. And it'd be nice to have that one available because it takes a while for the tax credit program to dole out the tax credits for projects. So the sooner we get in, the better chance we have of making the project work in an efficient manner.
Right. The pool opens on the 21st. So you're trying to get to be first on the pool?
Correct. The application, yes.
Jake, what do you think?
I have a question.
Yes, David.
My question back at Ken is, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Ken, but could you elaborate on the low income tax credits and what benefit they are to the town. I mean, it's one thing for people that do this on a regular basis. You can say low income tax credit, and that means volumes to informed people, but uninformed people that might be watching have no clue what you're saying, mean tax credit. Who gets it? I know I'm not going to get a check in the mail, and I don't think anybody on screen is going to get a check in the mail. So who is impacted and what is this tax credit?
Good point. And I think I would address it as follows. That every affordable housing project in the state has to have a deed restriction on the property and a subsidy that's created to control the affordability of the units so that they always remain affordable. This is just a subsidy program to the developer that allows the project to proceed with a subsidy that is issued by the state agency, in this case, DHCD. I believe these are 9% tax credits that come along with the DHCD application.
Correct.
So the answer to the question is the developer gets the tax credit.
Correct.
Yes, but we sell it to an investor to build it. So it's not, it just goes to us, to somebody else. It's how these things get built.
It's just part of the funding process.
Correct. But there's no cost to the town whatsoever. So when people are hearing taxes or anything like that, it has nothing to do, it has no.
Thank you. That's the point that I wanted, that I didn't want to spoon feed.
Yes. It's these are credits at the federal level that, banks will buy, and they get a tax break on their income. So it has nothing to do with the locals, communities.
Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Chris. Mute, take your mute off, yeah.
So in lieu of that, Jim, so the town is going to, I guess, do a 99-year lease, and we get $270,000. I guess at closing, as well as ongoing payments of what, $5,000 per year, which escalates to 2.5%. Is that so? That the town is getting those, plus they're getting the housing. Is that correct?
Correct.
What
plus,
about
plus taxes, plus taxes, plus the investments that we're going to make in terms of the sidewalks all the way out to Littleton Drive Road and the bus shelter, which is worth about $150,000 to $200,000. So.
Okay, thanks. So taxes, we'll be getting tax revenue from
Correct.
this every year.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the communities, the clubhouse is going to be available to the residents. So there are non-monetary benefits as well that come along with this development.
Thank you.
All right, the question is tonight, do we have?
Nazi, can I just speak real quick? I'll be real quick.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
My grandparents moved to 53 Swifts Beach Road in 1969, which is directly, this project's behind my grandparents' house. 1974, Section 8 was adopted, I think, in Massachusetts. And then right after my grandparents moved in, they put in the woods of Wareham, directly across the street from 53 Swifts Beach Road. From when that was put in 1974 until this day, crime rate and everything has changed there. My grandparents have told, I've seen it. Things have gotten worse and worse and worse in this particular area. I know it's 2020, but now doing this again to the people on 50 in that area that live right there, now putting this big project behind there. Over the years, we've seen many accidents, people getting killed, lots of dangerous things happening. I know they're proposing to do some things to make it better, but it's not going to make it better. It is what it is. It's 2020. We have to go with these things, but think about these people that have been here for many, many years. And some of these people have not been contacted. My mother personally and my family has not been contacted. No one has knocked on their door. And they are 2 houses away from Littleton Drive. And they are direct. This is a problem, and now it's going to be a bigger problem. That's all I have to say.
So if I can, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I did go out and knock on the doors, and I'm happy to go back down again when not everybody necessarily was home when I knocked, and I actually left my card at everybody's house, and I left a piece of paper, so everybody had my name and my number, and they could contact me if they needed to. So, but I'm happy to go back down there again and knock on doors, and if you want to give me your grandparents' specific name and a time when they'll be there, I'm happy to go and meet directly with them at any time. As for this development, this is not Wareham Woods. That's not a Section 8 development. So the building we're doing here is private housing. It's sponsored by the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit. There will be 8 project-based units, but every other unit will not have any project base on it. So this is private housing that is it's workforce and affordable housing, and it's for seniors, and it's for people they have to pay rent out of their pocket. It's not subsidized, and it's working families that will live there in these developments. And the other thing, just a couple of things to talk about with respect to the low-income housing tax credits and our management philosophy. And Jenny Hayward's on the phone here if you want to talk a little bit about how these things are managed. But the low-income housing tax credits, one of the other differences with the low-income housing tax credit program is it's a benefit that flows over 15 years to an investor. So that means that the property has to look and shine on day one, the same as it looks and shines on day one of year 15, because if it doesn't, then we owe a lot of money to an investor. We don't deliver those tax credits, and that's those tax credits are worth $10 million to the transaction, not including the state credit. So it's actually more like 15 million when you add that all in. So management of these facilities is very, very important to us. It's very important that we do it right. We have a presence there. There'll be a full-time manager on the site. There'll be a full-time maintenance person on the site. So then there are eyes on the street. So we pride ourselves on the way that we manage these properties. Everybody that moves into the property has to pass a strenuous background test. We also do credit checks, background analysis, and we go through a lot of applicants. If you don't meet those criteria, you don't get to live here. And this is housing as a, it's a housing opportunity for folks. And also if folks, are not going to be able to pay or can't, aren't paying their rent, then they're asked to leave and we evict them. So we believe in the value of these neighborhoods. We believe that this neighborhood will add to the community and not detract from it. And we wouldn't do what we do, and we wouldn't be able to continue to do what we do if we didn't operate them in that manner.
All right, I have to say, I did check a couple of projects they do a good job. And I have to say, Jake, in answer to your comments, this property being empty, when you have residents in it, it's more like a guard for it. And the way they manage this property, they have like a on-site manager. It makes a big difference. But I think it's designed, it's well designed, the whole project. But that's my opinion anyway. The question is tonight, I want to ask member by member, are you willing to give a vote tonight? So I'm going to start by Jim. Are you willing to give a vote?
Yes, I'm willing to vote.
He's willing to vote. Richard?
I thought I was on this, Nazi. This is Chris.
I'm sorry, Chris Conti. Sorry, Chris.
Yes, I'm willing to vote.
He's willing to vote. Veronica?
I still kind of feel like I don't know a whole lot about what's going on. Things have just gone so fast that I feel like I can't digest all of this. I don't have a whole ton of time aside from these meetings to review all this material. I have a job and a family, and I think that a lot of the public may be feeling the same way. I would vote, but I'm not comfortable voting. And I do have one other comment that I would like to make in regard to the police presence and the worry that crime or whatever may increase. There's got to be a manager on site. I don't know what standard is in this type of development, but my thought is, I know that there are some places that have security going in and out of the facility so that you have to be a resident or some kind of, I feel like maybe that would help. I don't know, security guard check or just going in and out, just you have to have a card. I don't, just an idea, but that's how I feel.
So you comfortable to vote or not? That's the question.
No, I'm not comfortable to vote. I will, but I'm not comfortable doing it.
Would it be better for the board for us to come back a week from today with, having more of these things?
For myself, yes.
Okay.
So so a week, that's the 20th, we have to.
Yeah, because then,
The problem, we have to publicize it. I don't think we could do it legally on the 20th. We can't hold the special meeting. At least we need a 2-week notice. It has to go on the paper, it has to be posted. It will be defective if we meet on the 20th. That's the problem.
Mr. Chairman, it's Mark Bobrowski. I'm legal counsel for the applicant. May I speak?
Yes, Councilman.
This has already been advertised, so your continuance of this for 1 week does not need to be re-advertised. You can simply announce to the crowd in attendance here on the Zoom call that the meeting will be continued until date certain, time and place.
I agree, but I think the town, because we do it second and fourth Wednesday, it needs more time to convene a zoning board. And I think I'm gonna ask Ken to convene a zoning board. I think it needs a notice. I know we could continue it for a week, but if the board is not convening, I have to ask Ken. Ken?
Yes, you have before, and other boards as well have set unusual dates, not the normal meeting time, so that they could get the work done on development permits. So you don't have to.
I understand, but when we set January 6th, we set it like 3 weeks prior. I mean, I don't mind on the 20th, as long as it's legal and legit.
Well, it's our risk, Mr. Chairman, and I think Mr. Buckland is indicating that he takes the same position I do.
Okay, I'm reading some things here. I guess no notice is needed on paper, just an agenda needed on Monday for the 20th. So I guess we could do it. That's my legal counsel, I guess.
So what is it?
Thank you.
Let me ask, what vote exactly are we seeking this evening?
They're looking for a yes vote. That's what they're looking for, I believe.
Yeah,
I mean,
and again, I just want to reiterate, it's not the end of the story. I know that, we are looking for the yes vote, but it's not, there's still lots to be done on this project.
A couple of things to talk about.
all right, let me, Charlie, let me pass quick to the audience. I think there's people here.
Okay.
All right, anyone in the audience would like to speak? on
Yes.
that matter? Yes, sir.
I would like to say a few words, please.
I need your name and address, sir.
My name is Elidio Pina, is known as Lee Pina, and I'm at 6B Rock Marsh Road.
Okay.
And I my backyard is adjacent to this property. And there's one big concern that I have that I have a big problem with the storm water overflow. I have a big water containment right next to my house here, to a little bit towards the front and the left side. And all the water from, we have 7 duplexes here, 14 families. And all the water from the street, from Rock Marsh, drains into that easement in front of my house, which is about 50 feet away from my house. And it takes a lot of water there. And then the water from there, it overflows into the wooded area back there. And that area is the lowest area of the whole place, including the this property where they're going to build. So my concern is how we're going to be trapped inside here with all this overflowing water that doesn't have anywhere to go. I bought this house. We moved here about 12 years ago, and I had 3 big incidents since. 1 year after I bought the house, we had a big flood here that we had like 12 inches of rain here, because that never happened before, but it happened anyway at that time. And I had like 2 feet of water in back here. And I was for 2 weeks pumping water out of the basement, just kept pumping water just so it wouldn't get to my water heater and my furnace, because I had all that water in there. And when they built the house, they didn't even put a sump in there, but I did put one after. So I spent thousands of dollars since then trying to get this basement watertight. And the only way I got the water out of here, we had for 2 weeks, the water didn't go down. So I actually asked for some help from the town that somebody would come out with a backhoe and open a trench out in back, because I could see all the water puddling there, and that area that's going to be built. There was like a trail there with the four-wheelers, and they left a big berm up against there, and it was stopping the water from getting through. Well, they refused to come out here, and I went out back for 2 days with a shovel and a hoe, and I dug out trenches and finally got rid of the water. And once I got rid of the water, about 2 days after that, the water, I stopped getting water from the basement. And I did have 2 other problems already, not as big. So that's my big concern. And I think most people here have that concern, but I'm in the worst spot because in the back of my yard, right up against this property, is the lowest area where the water has nowhere to go. And as I'm looking at the drawing that I got here that they're going to build, I see there's like a walkway that goes all the way around. I mean, I don't see any underground drainage, any water easements on this side. I see some on the other side and in front, but I don't see nothing on this side. And that's one big concern for us. And the other concern is, when I moved here, we had a lot of young people coming across our property. We had the police here several times. They used to come right through here to get out to Route 6, because it was a short distance for people that live in the back there. And I guess there was trails here, and they used to do it before they built this place. So they kept coming through here, and they actually did damage. They used to throw sticks and rocks at the place. They broke the windows, my windows once. I ended up putting alarms and spotlights. But for about 2 or 3 years, it was pretty bad. And we went through a lot here because people were coming through here, and we couldn't talk to them because they used to yell back at us, and we didn't have no saying. And they said that they've been coming through here for years, and they weren't going to stop. So,
all right, Mr. Lima, if I may cut you. So your concern is drainage, and you live in the last house at the cul-de-sac, which is the closest to the land, right? So that's your concern.
not the last one. My property is lot 5.
Okay.
But it's actually the lowest area of the whole place, because everything from
Right, but let me explain something to you. The way they'll design the drainage, they contain their own water. I want to pass you to the engineer to answer. Now, opening the drainage stuff with the town, that has nothing to do with the applicant. And I'm sorry you're having these problems. So I want to pass it to the engineer, or Charlie can answer the drainage, how they're going to contain it.
Yeah.
They design so they contain this water. I remember when they built that Broad Marsh, and they did a horrible job. We didn't have a planner then. Nobody was watching. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, so actually, if you don't mind, I'd like Rich Clater to handle this one.
Go ahead, Rich.
Mr. Chairman, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you can see my cursor as this little hand. I believe the lot in question might be this one. Is that correct, sir?
That's exactly the one. Yes.
Okay. So what I think I understand is that the runoff comes down off of this street and settles into what looks like a detention pond that was built in your front yard.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And
right,
the water from the opposite side of the street
Comes
goes
in-
into a settlement tank and also drains back into that containment.
So that apparently overflows during really high water and then goes down into this, what, low-lying area. These yellow
Exactly.
these yellow lines are contour lines, and the orange ones are lower than the yellow ones. The yellow one is elevation 15. The orange ones are elevation 14, and then there are actually these other ones are little holes. So there's some other little holes. So we have a low point back in here where the water settles. If it got to be too much water, it would overflow into this low point. This is what it all looks like now. And our proposal, we're going to build a very large infiltration system back behind here that will be also lower than the low spot behind you. So if that water will come over to here, it will go into this area as well. And then that area has an extra capacity to accommodate the flow. What we're trying to do is make sure that we accommodate all the water that is coming to that area. So I think, and it's hard to say for certain, but we're adding more storage volume than is there now. And our expectation is that we would potentially improve conditions. Now, it's not going to improve what happens out here in the street because we're not doing anything out there. But if that water does overflow, we're not putting in any restriction. We're not putting in any barrier. In fact, we're digging a bigger hole out here. So if anything, that water will have somewhere to go if it does overflow. So while, again, I can't guarantee that it's a condition, we have accounted for that.
Okay, well, that's my concern. That was my concern. And as a matter of fact, out there where that trail is, that dirt road, there's actually some storm drains there. They've been there for years.
Yeah.
And I went out there one day because the water got to a certain point and it just wouldn't go down anymore. And I went out there and I pulled all the pieces of wood and pine needles and stuff out of those drains. And they actually started working. And it took a long time because it was a lot of water. It was a massive amount of water. But those storm drains did get rid of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, if you build something without some place for the water to go, this can happen again. It's
So I think the development we're doing will help deal with your issues because it'll manage the water on our site.
okay. And what about like I said about the problem with the people and stuff? Are they considering some kind of fence in a parameter that because when you look at this project, you got Littleton Road. Well, for people to walk out of there and go down to Littleton Road, if they want to go down to the liquor store up Route 6, it's quite a ways. It's almost half a mile. And the ones that live way back here, like building 5, 6, 7, and 8, if they can cut across right through our property between our houses, they're right there. And this is what happened before. And with all these families in there, I'm sure there's going to be, people that are going to do that. And, after what we went through here for about 2 or 3 years, we're going to start doing this again, I guess. That's the other concern. So
you concern fencing, we did, sir, Mr. Lima, right? You said Mr. Lima?
Lee.
Mr. Lee. We did talk about fencing. I was one who's pro fencing, but I went with the recommendation conservation, so the rest of the board, we believe like natural buffer is much better than fencing. It's for the wildlife and for maintenance and everything else. So, and to answer your question, I believe most of the board against fencing, but drainage, I'm sure the the applicant will address drainage. I'm gonna move, we'll get back to you, Mr. Lee. Let me go move to another neighbor. Anyone else? want-
Okay, all
I'll
right.
get back to you.
Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. Okay, can someone else would like to speak?
They're gonna have
Yes,
another meeting.
please. I do
Okay.
have a concern. I
Yeah.
am Lee's wife.
Okay.
I've been listening and I haven't heard any comments or any regarding lights at the end of Swift Beach. Is that in the
Don't
works
worry about
for,
that. That's the town,
for
that's
traffic
the-
lights? Because there's gonna be a lot of traffic coming in and out. And we've had quite a few accidents there, many times, and I'm sure you guys must be aware of that.
Right, we did discuss, this is a state highway and the town did
Okay.
apply for a light. And we're hoping to see something by 2024 or 25 for a light.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, all right.
And they actually was 2027, but actually a couple of selectmen put a lot of effort to move that forward, to move it closer. I think they said 24 or 25. So by the time the project's done, about a year later, you'll see a light, hopefully.
Oh, awesome, because it's a real problem right now, yes. In
All right,
fact,
thank
I
you.
think it should have been, it should have been up there for a very long time. Yeah, it's past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually have a resident here that she bought a car and less than a year after she bought it, she
Yeah,
got hit on here and they totaled her car and she's lucky she's still alive.
All right, thank you, Lee, thank you, and you lady. Okay, can I have someone else want to speak from neighbors?
You want?
May I speak?
Yes, your name?
Pam Smith, 59 Swiss Beach Road. I just had a concern with if the speeding is continued, if it could be continued not to the 20th, but the week after, because they do go before the Conservation Commission on the 20th. And last time there was a going back and forth issue to try to watch both meetings at once.
Right. All right, Pam. Yeah, okay, well, we'll discuss this matter. Can
Also,
you
just
heard that?
one other thing I just want to point out, because where they're located with all the children that will be there, as older children, or I know the school bus does pick up for the elementary, but they will be walking for the middle school and the high school. So I didn't know if they would, or I don't know who would address this, but even if some kind of crosswalk or something, so they could get to the other side, there'll be a lot of traffic coming and going out of that little street, and trying to get 30 or 40 kids out to school and back every day will be a problem.
I
Thank you.
think there is a crosswalk, but I leave this to Charlie.
Mr. Chairman,
Not where Little
Go ahead, Chair.
is it, it's Pam Smith? Is that, am I have the name right correctly? Pam Smith?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes,
Are you talking about a crosswalk across Swiss Beach Road?
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
so
some
actually-
kind of signage or something. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, that's a great idea. And that actually came up the other night at the planning board meeting, and we'll do a crosswalk across that street. Not a problem.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Someone else from the neighbors want to speak, or residents? All right, Kenny, what are we gonna do with the conflict between the Concom and us? We go on the 20th. Ken?
I'm not sure.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, we can, may I speak if you don't?
Sure.
I mean, our team is, we can break up our team, we can go to both, so that's not a problem.
The question is whether the neighbors can get to both as well.
That's the thing, yeah. What are you on the agenda? What time you on the agenda with the Concom? Do you know?
I don't. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Nazi,
Yes.
Sandy
Yes.
Slavin.
Yes, Sandy.
The Conservation Commission hearing on the 20th has 9 new hearings. We start at 6:30. Woodland Penrose is a continued one, so I would expect we will not be taking it for the first hour and a half, if not 2 hours. It will
Okay.
not be first on our agenda, if that helps.
Yes, yes, it does help. So I guess we could convene on the 20th and
If you
you're
do
the
it
only
first,
one, and we, couple of hours, we should wrap it up at the most, hopefully. Does that sound right? Good? Okay.
Sounds good.
Ken, that sounds good?
Yes.
All right, I wanna,
I have another question.
yeah, Jimmy.
So once there's a vote, am I understanding it correctly? The reason we're putting off voting is because once we take a vote, the public can no longer give input. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay, so that's why we're putting it off, so that if anybody from the community wants to speak, they have one more chance.
Right, and Veronica wanted more time to review it as well as Jake. I guess Jake is not comfortable voting.
No,
or-
no, I will vote. I will vote. I was just stating something, that's all.
Yes. So.
And I'd like to clarify for myself, I think it would probably take me more than a week to get my head wrapped around this whole thing, so don't delay the vote on my behalf. I'm going to put my trust in what the town planners and Mr. Buckland and everybody that's been working on this has come up with, that the public's had a lot of input, and I do think that the applicant's been responsive to a lot of it. I'm still concerned though about the police department's letter with, an increase in activity over there. I don't think that's really been addressed, but other than that, don't delay on my behalf because it's not necessary.
All right, is Mr. Slavin there, Selectman Allen? Is he around?
Alan?
I can find him if you give me a minute.
Yes, okay, well, what
I'll
you
be right
do.
back.
So let me ask you, Charlie, and Ken, and your counselor, can we put a clause in the vote that if anything, like on the plan to be rectified, you have to come back to us? Like anything other than the yes, as we all in agreement of 93 units, but anything in the design and stuff, if it needs.
So may I respond, Mr. Chairman? It's Mark Bobrowski.
Yes, yes.
So the HAC has recently taken the position in the Falmouth case that the waivers requested are obviously in writing, and they are granted or not granted by the board as part of its decision. But in the approved plan, if waivers are shown and they're not written out, they too are approved. That's in the Falmouth Hospitality versus Zoning Board of Appeals of Falmouth case, just recently decided by the Housing Appeals Committee. But the moral of the story, more importantly, is that the HAC regulations provide for the applicant to show you and request approval for insubstantial changes and substantial changes. And they're differentiated in the rules, so there's no guessing. There's examples of insubstantial changes provided, and there's examples of substantial changes provided. An insubstantial change is a letter to the board and a 20-day determination period by the board. If you don't do anything in 20 days, it's automatically approved. A substantial change requires a new public hearing, and you have to commence that hearing within 30 days, and you proceed as if it's a new item. So that's the way it's all designed to work under the HAC regulations.
Okay, and I'm assuming substantial change adding 5 units, right? Not moving.
I think it's a 10%. I don't have the rules in front of me, but there is a number attached to it, and I believe it's adding or 10% of the unit, 10% more units.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say that you have to move, but the design, then you have to move the manhole. You willing?
A manhole change would probably be an insubstantial change.
That would be minor.
Yeah, that'd be insubstantial.
Okay.
They're very clear examples. They give 5 or 6 examples for both types.
All right. I don't know.
So
Okay.
Nazi,
Yes, sir.
in all respect to the public and everybody else involved with this process, I'm listening and I have heard that there's going to be no difference if Veronica and Jake vote tonight or if they vote next Wednesday night. So I personally don't see any benefit in belaboring it.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Nancy,
Yeah.
did you have a question for me?
Yeah, Alan, do you have any input on this project? Because we might take a vote tonight.
What are you
Final,
looking for?
final thought.
Well, I've made my comments before that, we have 40B projects come before us, which are, I won't say, we're not very happy with most of them because of the way they are, because they have so many, ability to bypass so many rules. This has probably been the cleanest unit that I've seen as far as design and application and as far as working with the people themselves. So as far as I'm concerned, I know there's some issues as far as fencing and some other things, but the basic project as it's laid out with the, facilities, et cetera, is probably the cleanest one I've seen in 10 years.
All right, thank you. That's very comforting. So that's a good thing. All right, so what's the wishes, guys?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, I have a motion to close public hearing. Just let me see I need the numbers. 30-20 for Littleton Drive. Do I have a second?
I second Chris Conti.
Second by Chris Conti. All right, on that motion, after all in favor to close, say aye.
Jacob Morrison, aye.
Veronica Debonese, aye.
Chris Conti, aye.
Jim Akabachi, aye.
And Nazir Okolasi, aye. Okay, on any wishes from the board on 30-20?
I make a motion to approve this project under standard and additional conditions, and the additional conditions being that the peer review comments all be discussed, reviewed, and addressed between Charlie's nodding his head. He knows what I want. And that's it.
All right, Chuck, before we get a second on this, is that a draft decision? I haven't done 40B for a while. Do you draft a decision, Counselor, and do we sign it, or it's a standard?
Yeah, I would defer to, if I may, defer to my counsel. It's a draft decision. I think we still need to make some tweaks to it. So I don't think you can sign it tonight, but you could give, I believe you could give authority to have it executed.
Unless you have a missile that could come 6,000 miles. All right.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
You sign electronically, Naz.
Once the public hearing closes, you have 40 days to render a decision and 14 more to file it. So if you're voting its approval tonight, you have 14 more days to write it up. And I think.
Okay, good. But we do have some draft decision and can go through it. Town council can.
Yes.
All right. So on Jim's motion with the man, I'm tired.
Standard conditions plus.
With the conditions he put.
Meeting.
I have a second.
I second Chris Conti.
All right, second by Chris Conti. All in favor for 30-20 for Littleton Drive, signify by saying aye and say their name.
Aye, Chris Conti.
Aye, Jim
Aye.
Akabachi.
Aye, Veronica Debonese.
Aye, Nazir Okolasi.
Jake.
You guys got the vote.
Yeah, but we need you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jake, are you saying aye or nay?
Nay.
Nay, okay. Okay, so it is 4-1-0. It carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And
you very
Mr.
much.
Morrison, I was there, I would very much like to talk with your grandparents and happy to walk them through the project. So
No, I appreciate
if
it,
you want
guys.
to
I'm
pass-
sure you guys are going to do a great job. I appreciate it.
yeah, so if you, Ken has my number, or I can give it to you here. If you want to have them reach out to me, I'd be happy to talk with them.
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
now, let me see if we have anything else.
Other
here.
business?
Do we have any other business you guys want to discuss?
I do.
What do you like?
We've discussed this in the past when we have a member of the board that misses a minimum of 3 meetings consecutively, that as a board, we make a decision. I don't want to necessarily kick somebody off the board, but I'd like to find out what's going on with a member that hasn't been for the last 3 or 4. He hasn't been to a meeting since Mannix applied.
on Mr. Cruz, Walter.
I mean, if we're gonna have a member that's not gonna be participating and not, I like the guy and I'd like his input, but if his, you know, if things have changed in his life, let's make appropriate adjustments and have a full board.
All right, very well. Ken, what do we do? Make a vote on that?
You can make a vote. I can contact Walter and find out what the story is as well. If I get an answer, I can relay it back. But he's already missed more than 3 consecutive meetings without an excuse.
So can we make a vote if we wish?
Yes, you may.
All right, so Jimmy, what's your motion?
I can take it from either of 2 directions. Direction 1 would be request a letter go to him, you know, asking if he wishes to resign, or if he wishes to continue, and if he comes back with, oh, I've had COVID, or oh, I had my toe stuck in the faucet and I couldn't get out of the tub, or whatever the answer is, then we make a decision based on his reply. And then I can also go with, he hasn't been here, let's make the seat vacant, let's advance somebody to full membership. So I'd rather hear from the rest of the board. I don't want to be the one to say what we should do.
Hey, Veronica.
I think I'd like to give him a chance to know our intent and hear his response before
Okay,
making a
very
decision.
well. And Jake?
Jake, did you leave?
Nope, I'm here. Whatever you guys want.
Yeah, I think we should give him a chance to respond. I think that'd be nice. Richard, what do you think?
Yes, I think he has a right to respond.
Okay, Chris?
Yes, I agree also.
All right, let's reach out. Kenny, if you reach out to them by phone or email or letter, and let's go from there. I mean, just
Will do.
have some respect to each other. All right, very good.
Like I said, I wasn't looking to be a hard nose about it. I just feel as though.
Yeah, you made sense.
First of a full board.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you're right too. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. He hasn't been here for a while, so we.
So,
need to
okay,
make a
let's
decision.
reach out first and we go from there. Okay, otherwise, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I have one more question.
Yes, Chris.
This is Chris. When we all convened in the multi-purpose center, when we voted on things, we passed around and we used to have to sign a document. And seeing now that we have we have Zoom, I was just curious whether we need to somehow sign any documents, either electronically or come into the town hall and sign.
You gotta call the town hall and she'll meet you, or Ken or Sonia meet you. But Ken can answer this quick. Go ahead, Ken.
You voted on having electronic signatures as available to the for the documents that are submitted to the County Registry of Deeds. So we can do it electronic signatures. You can also sign directly as well too. And what we do is, as was said, you give a call to the office. We tell you when which door to meet us at, and we'll come down and have you sign the decisions.
Okay, so we should have been signing these all along or something? I guess that was my
Yeah,
concern.
you just gotta call Sonia tomorrow and she'll let you know if she needs your signature.
I think to further answer Chris's question, and Ken can correct me. I believe that there's been something filed that if either the clerk or the chairman sign on behalf of the board, we can get it filed and then the other signatures can follow. Is something like that happening, Ken?
That's correct. You can they can be filed with just the 1 or 2 signatures.
Okay, great,
Can it be
thanks.
recorded at the registry or it needs all
You
signatures?
need to have a vote approving that and record it.
And it's been done, Jim Manise. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was unmuted.
That's all right.
Well, thanks. I just wanted to clarify because I was afraid that all these decisions we've been making, I want to make sure everything was.
No, it's a wonderful question, and if Ken can shut me up, but to further go along that, I brought into Sonia and Ken just this week the name of a software application that works very well for this purpose. I use it for legal transactions. It's legal signatures in the state of Massachusetts. It's documented. There's pieces of paper that come behind it. You have to go through a little bit of a process to do your signing, but once you do the process, you get an email, you click a button and you've signed it, and it works really slick. And it works really slick for the person generating the form from the point of view that you can send it out and you can have all 5 people sign it in what in the legal terms you'd say in counterpart, but it comes back as one document with everybody's signature. It's pretty slick. Or you can have it, or they can set it up so that it has to be signed in a certain order and it goes from person to person to person. So it's a pretty good program. And Ken said, yeah, for $100, I'll pay it out of my pocket.
Out of your pocket.
Nazzy, can you hear me?
That's what I said, out of your pocket, yes.
Who's speaking?
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, oh, you can.
Hi, Charlie.
I apologize for not being on earlier. I had another meeting, 40B project in Mashpee that I had to be in on. Did you continue the Sandwich Road project?
Yes.
Okay. So I should expect, I assume, to see some sort of plans coming forth, or?
Well, I guess he's gonna start doing his plan. We got an extension for decision time from him, and he's gonna finish his plan and send to you very soon.
February, right, 12 or something?
February 12th?
Gonna meet back with him on his second hearing on
The 10th.
February 10th.
February 10th, okay. All right, just so I have an idea as to what to expect or not expect. Okay, thank you.
We
Thank you.
agreed to delay it, Charlie, long enough for me to be old enough to be eligible.
Yeah. I hope I'm able to give you a positive response, but without seeing anything, I can't. So.
So stay on, Jimmy. All right. Okay, so that being said, can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Jim, all in favor, say second. Do I have a second?
Chris Conti, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Chris Conti.
Hi, Mark Sample.
Hi, Veronica Debonese. Nazzy, you look like you were gonna fall asleep.
And
Did you
I,
fall asleep?
no, and I, Nazir Al-Khalasi. Jake?
Aye.
All right, very good. And thank you all.
Don't we?
Good night.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you
Good work.
Night, everybody.
very much.
Good night.